What's up, everyone? Welcome back to UA Anime Club, the weekly podcast where we discuss the latest episodes of My Hero Academia as they come out week to week. I'm your host, Seth, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Micah and Poyo. Say hi, you guys.
Hey,
Hi.
It was a boring hey and hi.
I'm sick.
Man, fuck off. What do you want me to say? Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know. We're
Okay.
also joined by, you guessed it, Trevzed.
Fuck you. I can't believe it's already over, bro.
I feel like you're just like a member of the podcast at this
At
point.
this point,
At this point,
Aw, I'm honored. Bro.
I mean, you've been not consistently, but like you've been here a bunch of times.
I've been knocking
You're a familiar
every instance
face.
that I can. Hello, fellas. It's great to be back. For the final time ever. Because
you'd
they
be
canceled
joining
the show.
for like the most depressing episodes.
Which
Yeah,
are my
after-
favorites!
After this, we have to kill you. You can never.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's part of the contract.
Well,
I
actually,
see.
we'll put you in a Nomu death-like state, like Best Jeanist.
Oh, okay.
And
So I'll
then,
get to
like-
be like in a cool purple tube, and then
Yeah,
be
yeah.
kind of dead but not dead.
The
Yeah,
purple
and
Gatorade,
and then when we need you, we'll just let you out.
Seems this thread has been torn.
But last time on, what happened? Well, Deku, he was out by himself, and he went completely rogue, and no one can stop him. So what Class A and Endeavor and the principal all came together and was like, yo, you gotta go get him back. Last episode ends with them confronting Deku, and this episode 23 of Season 6, is essentially that entire confrontation. But how does it go? Well, the first half of this episode is essentially just Deku versus Class A. And they're all trying to get to him by telling him like all the important things that Deku's helped them with in their time together. And Deku's not necessarily having it because he's still so afraid that if he goes back, he's essentially, he even says like, if I go back, I'm essentially killing you myself. Because
Yeah, the dub nailed that line, by the way. Just a little interject there that hit my soul when Justin said it.
Busted
Yeah.
ass, all might wanna be. That's
Dude,
Busted
that
ass all
shit
might
is-
wanna be.
That shit is so fucking
That is
like
such a good dub line.
it just fits.
So I love the order that they play all these fights with Class A, by the way, because it really is, they start with like the ones least connected to Deku and slowly like
Yeah.
close the gap as the characters show up, which I think is
Mhm.
really cool, and it makes
Yeah.
the escalation of Deku's mental state even more powerful.
Deku also tells Todoroki, because he's trapped in Todoroki's ice, that he has to fight by himself because this is essentially just a battle between one for all for one, and no one else because no one can keep up. So he manages to escape, and using his 45% full cowling, his black whip, his fa jin, all in sequential order, he uses his 100% faux version and just like launches himself at like supersonic speeds. And Uraraka tries to catch him, but obviously she can't. She's not fast enough. So the rest of the class, they regroup, they come together, and they form a giant ice ramp. And
In the best use of Yusei Run in the whole series,
Ever.
arguably.
Right.
Shit,
Right. Like this is that. Yeah.
it's so good.
so after they create the ramp, right? They use Ashido's acid, they use Todoroki's like fire, like ice explosion
Flash freeze,
combination,
heat wave.
and Bakugo uses his explosions to propel himself upward, while Uraraka used the zero gravity to make them lighter. and Bakugo throws Ida into the sky with his Recipro Turbo, and he's going so fast, bro looks like he's gonna like go through time. Like he's
Bro, so fast he had to get redrawn in the volume release because of how fast he was going.
Yeah.
his armor was falling apart, his glasses comes off. He's going like faster than Deku because he manages to pass him, but he grabs his arm and in a huge callback to what All Might told Deku at the beginning of the series and what Deku told Ida around the same time when he was doing this sort of going off on his own sort of adventures when he had to go fight Stain.
Yeah.
And
Back in season 2.
and he says, meddling is the essence of being a hero. And after hearing this, Deku just like collapses into his arms. And Uraraka releases them. And now they gotta find a way to land without,
Yeah.
splatting on the ground.
Also, this like episode reminded me like how much, not just how much I really like just Class 1A like as a group, but like how much I really liked Ida.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because like Ida,
He's been sidelined a little too much.
yeah, like for the whole fucking series, and like this was the moment where I was like, oh yeah, I really like Ida's character, and he's such
Yeah.
he's such a homie, you know.
This is
He's
his
just a good
best
friend.
moment in the story for me, like as a whole, because it was so unexpected but so welcome and warranted, where he has made very clear that he is one of Deku's closest friends, and every time Ida and Deku share a moment, it's emotionally devastating. So I'm happy they remembered that like even simple things, like when during Overhaul, when he's talking with Ida and Shoto and he can't really let on what is going on, and Ida's still like, I'm your friend, don't forget that. That moment stuck with me. So that all reverberated. And just Bakugo going like, go on class rep, like that's so cool.
That's so good.
Yeah. The
'Cause he's
callbacks too
the-
with Ida.
Yeah.
Like to his like from season 2 with Stain, and of course like Deku basically rescuing Ida from what would have been his death, and also giving him new hope. And like you just see that now, what that did to him.
How much that stuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's fully embraced the name Ingenium as well.
Yes.
Like what a way to do that in like
Because he wasn't doing that before, right? He was like, I'm not really fully embracing it until I know I'm a proper hero.
Yeah, it was a little on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's like defiant. It's like Ingenium will always race to a lost child's hand. It's like hell yeah, you will.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
So they managed to land on the ground because Kirishima is able to catch them, and this is when Bakugo steps forward, and he confronts.
No. I thought it was Mineta. You know.
But I fell for you.
We'll talk about.
No, it's Mineta.
We'll talk about that.
Oh my fucking god, bro. No. So yeah, this is where Mineta comes up to Deku and he's like, listen.
Confesses finally.
ever
want
since
you.
I fell for you.
See, this is what everybody's waiting for to get adapted, not the part afterward. That's just fluff. That's filler.
Yeah, who cares?
I remember when this chapter came out, I hadn't been reading the manga at that time, and like I kept seeing jokes about like bisexual Mineta, and I was just like, what happened in the manga that I'm like not aware of?
I remember having to defend my story as everyone who was anime only to people like, hey yo, you here? I'm like, yes, I heard.
I heard.
I know.
I know.
So, if you're confused about what we're talking about, the specific word choice that Mineta uses when he talks about like what he likes about Deku,
What sold Deku on him as a person?
but he the way he words it is what made me fall for you.
Which is like
Because
Dog.
there's no English equivalent other than that for that line in Japanese, and so they keep it across the manga and the sub and the dub, and now it's
He
there
says
forever.
in the dub too. That's great.
So
Yep.
now,
I vote for you.
the birth. This was the birth of
By
bisexual King Mineta.
Our
The
bi king.
awakening.
I love you.
I
love
love
you.
you. There's a great edit of a particular panel of him just saying "I love you" to Deku, and it's really funny. But in all
I loved Twitter's jokes back then.
Dude,
They were
Because it
really
was just
good.
because like the jokes were that the LGBT community just does not accept him.
we do
we don't
not
want 'em.
accept Mineta.
We don't want him.
Lock them out.
That's so funny.
Okay, you can continue, Seth. Back to your
Yeah, with the real
original.
narrative.
So back on the ground, Bakugo steps forward. Not Mineta. Bakugo steps forward, and he confronts Deku himself. And in a truly amazing moment, he just spills his heart out and he tells Deku the truth about how he's felt about him since childhood, and he apologizes for just bullying him and being a piece of shit their entire lives. And just Deku, in a mix of his exhaustion and his just him hearing this apology, collapses, and he himself apologizes to everyone, saying, "I'm sorry for, saying that you guys couldn't keep up with me." And Bakugo just tells him, like, "Yeah, I know. It's fine." And he falls asleep in his arms. And it is such a good scene.
It's a great scene. I remember reading this in the manga and I was like, I cannot wait for this shit to like get animated.
Mr. Nobuhiko Okamoto, I love his dedication to this character to the point where for this scene in particular, he hit up Horikoshi online for advice.
Legit.
He did.
He was like,
Which
"How
is
do I do this?"
awesome.
That's so good.
He wanted to be perfect with the scene. So he went to Horikoshi himself. Was like, okay, advice.
meaning that the delivery of his voice is exactly how Horikoshi envisioned the entire scene.
And I love that we're doing this now because I can compare it to the dub as well. Clifford Chapin also did a phenomenal job.
He did a great job. I like
literally my fucking goat.
I think I watched it yesterday or something. It's so good.
It's fucking amazing. We have a friend who told us about it, and they are not necessarily like, they don't hate anime dubs, but they're not like, they're always like, they're like sub all the way.
Yeah.
But they told us about this scene, and they were like, "Yo, I watched this in the dub, and I cried my eyes out."
That's how you know.
That's how you do it.
I'll add this comment for our overall discussion for the whole season, but particularly the English dub for season 6 has been the best it's ever been.
I think so.
So is the sub. Like these are my favorite performances from like all of these actors, I think.
They've all been doing so great, yeah.
The show just has phenomenal voice acting and masterfully crafted and chosen music for every scene. I wanted to talk about that.
Because like before we watched the episode, Seth was like, "Okay, what are they going to play during the apology scene?" Like at first, I was like, "Oh, they're gonna play Bakusatsuo," but then I was like, I don't know, maybe they're gonna play like something else. Like I was like, not sure.
Before it was shown that they made a song specifically for it, which, fun fact, he apparently across the whole season 6 soundtrack, Hayashi said that was the song that came to him first, was for that scene, to the point where the animatic and storyboard and the voice lines were not done yet, so he filmed a video of him reading the manga panel.
Oh my god.
And filming it with his phone so he could get the timing for the music right. And
I
then sent it to his boss privately.
Yeah, that is so cool.
But then his boss like shared it around. He's like, "No, that was supposed to be private. It's not done yet."
That's
Which
crazy.
is great. I saw an interesting theory I saw before that was there's a song in World Heroes Mission called Inferiority Complex, which based on name would have really worked too, but I love the song that they did end up making because it's just
I think the
perfect.
song is called "I'm Sorry for Everything That I've Done,"
Yes.
which is a long title for a song.
But very fitting.
It's a very slow arrangement of Bakusatsuo, which is Bakugo's theme, obviously.
with
But it like
sprinkles
leads
of
in to
You Say Run.
You Say Run,
Yeah.
and
Which like I said that like half-heartedly, like maybe they'll do it, and then but then they did, and I was like,
then
all
they
right.
committed.
you commented on You Say Run a little bit, but we could talk about that a little bit after. But I just wanted to say that this scene, manga, anime, whatever, this is what like solidifies and like brings Bakugo's entire character arc full circle. Like
Truly.
this is a new guy from what you've seen previously. It like I don't want to hear the whole like Bakugo doesn't change or have any development.
I don't want to hear that shit
anymore.
ever again. Shut up.
As someone who, like, throughout seeing a lot of these stories and seeing, not to name names, Sasuke, being disappointed with how their characters turned out and how they really just ended up being a dickhead till their very end. As someone who, when first watching the show, hated Bakugo, and now, like, throughout all of his development and all of the changes and cultivating into that moment, cemented him as my like third favorite character in the story because
for
He's
sure.
one of the best characters of the entire like thing to me. Like I've always liked Bakugo, and not only that, but like I've just always been so like captured by his development, like
He's very
the
interesting.
gradual development of his character.
Yeah.
You know, because like I could go on about him because he, like he said, he just he felt inferior, and he was he didn't know how to deal with that, and also being put in situations that further fed into that, like when he got kidnapped, and then like all the other shit, and then like I don't know, like he's just a good character, and it really made me sad to see people, not everyone, because he's one of the most popular fuckers in the thing, but like some people who like would say like, oh, he has no character development, he still acts the same. I'm just like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like just because a character doesn't do a fucking 180 like personality shift does not mean that there isn't a progression of their character, that there isn't an arc happening. We saw like inklings of this earlier in the story of him like slowly maturing and learning how to be a proper hero, because he had all the power. He just needed to learn how to be a fucking like good person.
Yeah, like
he needed to mature a little.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it gave a lot of his older scenes from season 1 onward like a new lens that I could look through and appreciate what they were cooking with him even back then. I think the first thing I noticed was after Battle Trial, he doesn't just get mad at Deku for losing. He's crying. Like, that shows there's something deeper rooted in this inferiority than just, I'm the rival, so I hate you. And from there, it just builds. Yeah, and to a depiction of envy and inferiority that I haven't really seen portrayed in any other character that I've seen, at least not to this extent and this level of nuance and care.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Bakugo a lot. Like specifically, like you said, that depiction of envy and jealousy, because like I don't know, like you can say it's petty. Yeah, like you can say it's petty and it's dumb, but like that's real. Like that is a real emotion that like I feel like that is a great thing to explore with a character like this. Because even if you can say like, oh well, that's wrong, it's like, but like you understand why he feels that way. You understand how he got to this point. Like seeing him come to this, like seeing his character come to this, like satisfying to me. I don't know, like it's just great. Where he's able to like verbally recognize it, but also like, you know, apologize.
Yeah.
Mhm. Not everyone in the real world. Not everyone who is like this apologizes. It's really like a huge step forward, like for him.
Yeah.
Because like as I said, like people are like that in the real world, and they never apologize.
Yeah, like what you were saying there, like cut to a few weeks ago, the last couple of sessions of the podcast I was on. These are the same things we were saying about Endeavor and why his growth is so good, because people in the real world don't usually end up like this. But when the characters are strong enough to be able to face that own internal insecurity, it's so fucking satisfying.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's
so
good you
good.
point out Endeavor because they make a lot of parallels to Bakugo and Endeavor.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool though, right? Because like you have Deku, he's the main character, and you have Bakugo, he's the anime rival, and you have All Might and Endeavor that in that sort of like before times backstory of this whole show, that's who they were. All Might was
That's
the
what they
anime
were.
protagonist, and Endeavor was the rival who was going to
Yeah.
surpass you.
And like we saw how Endeavor ended up
They
he ended
were-
up hurting his family and
Mhm.
all that shit happening.
Like throwing more shade at Sasuke. I feel like if Sasuke was depicted in this world, that's kind of the kind of awful person he could have ended up as.
Yeah.
Had his development not kicked in. So seeing that depicted through Toshinori and Enji was awesome.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in Sasuke's case, instead of just abusing his children, he just doesn't raise them.
He just
Yeah.
doesn't. He's a hobo.
He raises
a
other
hobo.
people's children.
My dad's a terrorist. That's cool.
He's not even spending that much
That's
time with
cool.
his
My dad's the
wife.
president.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember even years ago I saw someone like say how they like Bakugo because he's not like the typical like take on an anime rival in that sense. Because like let's be real here, he kind of does maybe not consequences, but he does kind of face certain things that other rivals like this would not really face, if that makes any sense.
I think
Yeah.
because like during season 5, like the beginning of it, you see him kind of like he's still Bakugo, but he's also just looking deep into himself
Mm-hmm.
and finding like an answer.
I think it helps too. Like the reason that he is so different is that unlike a lot of these like Lancer rival characters, Bakugo was never a villain. He's
No.
always wanted
no.
to be a hero. Even in his worst moments, which is
That's what I
why
love, yeah.
I love in season 3, as soon as you think he would have that Sasuke betrayal moment with the League of Villains, like join us, he's like,
Of course not.
Throw yourself into traffic, is what he says to Shigaraki.
No, of course not, because he
Legit,
he
yeah.
wants to be a fucking hero. Like that's
He literally is like, no, kill yourself.
yeah, kill
it's like-
yourself now. Also, like now you reminded me in that arc when when the press is talking about that situation and they basically assert that like, oh, do you think they would have kidnapped Bakugo because Bakugo's a bad kid? I'm just like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, are you
Aizawa
trying to
straight up
blame
like,
this?
yeah, it's like, shut up. I know my student. Like, what are you trying to say?
It's interesting
Child.
that even so far back into the story, a group of angry adults blame all their problems on a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
We'll
how it.
get
That's
there.
that's how it be. I also wanted to talk about how like, cause like we've probably mentioned this before, but like Bakugo and Deku's relationship, like over the course of this this entire show, like I don't know, like they're one of the most like they're like one of my favorite just like duos
Mm-hmm.
now because of how like complex their relationship is, especially
Yeah.
at this point. Because now it's not like a whole like this is your like I'm loser nerd bully rival situation. Like it's
Yeah.
way past that. It's been past that for a while, but like now
Mhm.
we're at the peak.
They're like a modern day Goku and Vegeta, right? I
Truly.
argue my hottest take of this show is that their dynamic and rivalry is superior to Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah,
And I
it is.
know
I
I know
agree.
that's gonna piss a lot of Dragon Ball people off. I love Goku and Vegeta. Don't get me wrong,
Me
but
too.
like they don't have like the history, the complexity,
D-
the
Dragon Ball
building blocks
doesn't.
of a beginning, middle, and end of a story. You know.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball isn't the kind of story that warrants that amount of like introspection from both of them to the point where their relationship really moves past the point where it is now. Like,
Yeah.
which isn't shade at Dragon Ball or anything at all. Once again, I love Dragon Ball too. It's just My Hero is a different kind of story in that regard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's I feel like you could argue it's the evolution of like something like that.
That's why I like My Hero.
It's
that little nuance, baby. Oh!
We do have a little bit more of the episode left though, because
Yep.
after the after the fight and after they've brought Deku back to UA, we get 13 face reveal jump scare.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For a second.
she's cute. She's cute.
She's got blue
cute.
hair and pronouns.
Yeah.
What is crazy about this is that for years before this, like official like side stuff, like the light novels or whatever, would it give 13 he him pronouns, assuming that 13 was a guy,
Hmm.
Yep.
and then
Or like we
Horikoshi was like,
didn't know the gender really.
and then Horikoshi, I guess, either just changed his mind or just like withheld the information to be, I don't know, silly, because he
I
never
think-
corrected them.
I think what I remember hearing was after like hearing the voice actor they chose for 13, they changed the gender to accommodate. Like, it's like, oh wait, I like the idea of 13 being a girl. So
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
I think
Trans your
that's what it
gender.
changed.
Did with 13's face reveal is cool, but could you live without it?
I could live without it.
I could have too. I think she's cute.
No.
No, we had to see her face.
It was necessary.
Needed to see her fucking face, bro. Absolutely.
We got like a fragment of her face in the war. She had like an eye showing. Now it's
Oh,
like
that's
Oh
a
yeah,
full
that's
thing.
true.
So it wouldn't have completed the story arc setup with her face.
Without her face in there, dude. God forbid.
God forbid.
But we get to see UA is surrounded by a giant wall, Attack on Titan style. And inside of the UA campus, all of the people that are living there or as refugees are like, get that fucking kid out of here, bro.
Which is just like, yo.
We don't
Because,
want
like,
him here.
A lot of the
It's-
conspiracy has spread where like Deku, all for one, wants Deku and they're after him. So they're like, get
They-
out!
They feel unsafe. They feel like as
Yeah.
if like a bomb is now in there
Basically. Or a missile is
to stay.
directed towards them.
Which, like, I
it's
guess I
this-
understand. I'm just kind of like, this is a 16-year-old. You
they're
know,
just
like, don't
looking at it
direct
like
that
a
to
bomb.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, it's the Spider-Man 2 train scene, except instead of acknowledging he's a hero, it's like, careful. He's a menace.
But the townspeople, I think, I feel like we see this all of the time in like media or like animated media specifically, because I feel like every time there's like the citizens are in a room together with the main characters, they're always just assholes.
Yeah.
Think of-
Really awful.
Think of any like scene where like the main character is with like a group of civilians It isn't. They are never happy.
There's always dicks.
No.
It's true.
And maybe the citizens here are justified, right? They're panicking, they're scared. The world is literally crumbling. But like,
This is a child.
you're
This is a
not gonna
child.
look. You're not gonna look at Deku and think that
Aw,
is a
man.
beat up child.
Yeah.
It was interesting looking at some like reactions to this episode, and seeing how one interesting take I heard was, as much as I'd want to be on Deku's side for this, because I've seen the story, I feel like if I was put in this scenario, then I don't know how reasonable and rational I would be based on the circumstances as just a normal citizen.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
because
that's
we have
fair.
hindsight. We have hindsight, and also because Deku's the main character, so
We
we're
haven't
like,
Yeah.
hey,
seen Deku.
hey, man, like, come on, leave him alone.
It's like, we love Deku, but if we were just like Adam Johnson walking on the street and then we were evacuated
Adam
school,
Johnson.
it's like the guy who leveled like a whole city is after this 16-year-old boy, and now he's coming here to sleep and bathe. It's like, no!
Literally,
please!
like, the devil from the Bibles after him.
The devil from the Bible.
But that is more so addressed in the next episode.
Yeah.
But one more thing about this episode that I wanted to say, because I thought it was just super fucking cool of Horikoshi, is that Class 1A versus Deku takes place in front of the All Might statue in Communal Ward. And if you don't remember, that is where All Might and All for One had their giant battle. It is also the place where they had to rescue Bakugo. Now, how did they rescue Bakugo? They created a giant ice ramp. They had Ida launch them into the sky, and they had the best friend of the person that needed to be saved grab them by the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was like
Parallel.
really cool,
It's
how
cool.
they were able to parallel that scene.
It's so cool.
I didn't even
Very,
realize
very
until you
cool.
pointed it out when we watched it.
Not Deku. Horikoshi loves parallels.
He does.
Man's got a house of mirrors, I'm telling you, bro.
Very good at parallel parking.
It was a good
Also, like,
episode.
Last thing I'll say too is just like, because I said it earlier, like it reminded me how much I really like Class 1A, because like I genuinely, this class really does feel like they're all friends with each other. Like they're all just
Yeah.
a big fan. Like there's the little cliques. You got like the Deku squad and the Baku squad or whatever, but like they're all friends. Like they are all just one big family.
Yeah.
Especially since they all came together to get Deku, because they all have like formative memories with this guy. He made like a positive impact on everyone.
Even the small
they-
stuff, like Ojiro with the Shinso fight, and then Jiro with the concert notes. It's just
Yeah, or someone else being like, "You help me with my homework."
you
know,
that
like
homework. It meant a lot to me, bro.
yeah.
Another like thing about that is that Deku isn't the only person that inspired all of them. They inspired him as well, because a lot of them taught him how to use his new powers. Zero taught him how to use Black Whip with like using his tape, for example, or Uraka taught him how to control his movements while flying. And it's just like when Deku like came to that conclusion of like, no, you can't keep up with me. I am one for all. This is up to me. I can only do it by myself. It's like, well, he's obviously trying to protect his friends, right? It's all coming from his sense of care. But bro, who taught you how to use those powers?
Yeah,
who,
like
who
don't
helped
underestimate.
you get to this level? You might have like 7 quirks, but the rest of Class A has like 19.
And
Right.
Sato has a Netflix account.
And he also
And they all share it, and
They all share it.
Midoriya, I won't make you cakes anymore, bro. You gotta come back home.
Why you make him
is he
sound like-
muscle man?
Muscle man.
he was the most muscle man he's ever sounded in the dub for that episode, and
We
it
gotta look at
murdered
that
me.
later.
I will say, like, I get it. You wanted to like try and like appeal to like his emotions with like through Eri, but
But homie,
like you're not gonna let him borrow cake mix.
yeah,
That's
Ow.
your way of getting to him.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
that's the tactic. Even Coda had more to say, and he threw birds at him, bro. Like, come on.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Victoria, please care.
Yeah, but they all love Deku.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Nice animated. All great
Mhm.
music.
Oh, fantastically animated. Can we talk about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
good
they did
animation.
the ramp
Oh.
so well.
They did great.
The music was perfect.
Todoroki Bakugo Ida flying through the sky was like it wasn't like the Lady Nagant versus Deku cut where it was like not full on Nakamura levels, but it was still so amazing.
Yeah.
It did what it needed to do. Like
Mhm.
even simple things like Ragnarok, like Tsukuyomi knocking Deku into a building, or just the different. I love the little animation detail of Sero's tape wrapping around Black Whip and then like dragging it down. That was a really
Yeah,
cool
Yeah, it was
effect.
cool.
That's cool.
That was cool. It's cool that Black Whip, like, obviously it is tangible because it's able to grab things, but like it's still very much like a rope. You know, it can get cut off. It
Yeah.
can be like bent by like things interfering with it.
Because I was upset that the anime in season 5 kind of made it look more like wispy and like mist wind kind of dealio instead of the symbiote look that it kind of has in the manga. But that kind of like reaffirmed like, okay, they still got that tug and pull with Black Whip. I'm okay with this.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, everything about this episode, it just worked.
It just
Yeah.
worked, bro.
Yep. Did its job.
Ow.
So the next episode, MHA season 6, episode 24, A Young Woman's Declaration, is also another banger episode.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought? Who would have guessed? This
Yeah.
has been just full of them.
I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this one.
it is like one of the like pillar moments of this arc
Mm-hmm.
that I've been waiting to see get turned into the anime.
I'm gonna gush when we get to it, but I have 2 words that sum up my thoughts
Okay.
entirely. Ayane Sakura.
Yes.
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 Phenomenal performance.
But before we get to that, we gotta do the summary. We gotta talk about what happens at the beginning of this episode.
We gotta build up to that phenomenal performance.
And the episode starts with it's before the class has set out to go find Deku, and they're still talking to the principal and Endeavor. And Principal Nezu pretty much explains to Class A the intricacies of the newly designed UA barrier system, which apparently has been in development since the end of season 1.
Yeah, I built an underground fortress in the time that you were taking
Yeah,
your
like,
finals, and
you were
you
just hiding
didn't
this?
notice. How?
No
How?
one noticed.
No construction, no
Just in-
renovation.
Just in case.
It
You
was
know?
probably all fucking him and what's her name?
Hatsume?
Hatsume.
Hatsume,
No-
that's
Oh,
true.
dog! Imagine.
She was up all night.
No, you know the G power loader would have definitely helped there.
His name,
Power loader?
I forgot his name was Power Loader.
Yeah.
Also,
This
we
is the
see
gre-
one of
that is
the.
the-
we s-
That is the greatest porn star name ever.
He is
Yeah.
shirtless, to be fair.
Power loader.
That's true.
Okay. Also, we get one of the worst backgrounds in the entire show.
Legit.
Oh,
One of
yeah,
the worst
it is-
backgrounds.
Okay, so it's an aerial shot of UA, and what it's basically trying to illustrate is that UA's like dorms and the main building and the auditorium and every piece of campus has been laid out into a grid.
Yeah.
And like the way that it works is that like the grid system will like shift underground and like become like a big like subway system that will travel to the Shiketsu High School or vice versa, right? In case one or the other gets attacked.
How the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You know, just
The fuck?
because.
But like the shot they use to illustrate it is the aerial shot of the campus, and it looks so bad.
It's
It
still
looks
like,
got
this
its
is-
ugly.
weird McDonald's playmat aesthetic going
Yeah.
like we've talked about the backgrounds in this show, but like this is actually a part where I'm just like,
When
Come
we first
on!
saw it, yeah,
What
when
do you-
we first saw it, we were just like, "What the fuck?"
on. Why do you think the movies
I
give me
was
so
like-
much whiplash? Like, you get the shot with Rhodey, it's like, oh, that's beautiful, and then you come back and you look at Deku City, like,
no,
ew!
I know, right? Like all the anime backgrounds, like in cities, it's all just like blurs and I don't know. It
Meshes
just doesn't make sense to me
color.
when I see
Yeah.
it.
Made them with Mega Blocks and Expo marker, like, come on.
Expo marker.
And like that is my biggest like complaint, I guess, about this entire show, right?
Yeah.
Is has always been like the backgrounds look weird, but
Mhm.
sometimes they don't. Like sometimes the style kind of works, especially
like-
when it was like the previous few episodes with Lady and Got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the movies aforementioned. And
But, like,
the
sometimes
Endeavor
it'll be,
high-end
like-
fight.
Sometimes it'll look like, wow, look at this like beautiful scenery, and it's not beautiful scenery at all.
And all you see is
Yeah,
just
you're
like
just like,
trees that
damn.
are like weird camouflage texture.
And these fucking like copy pasted buildings, dog.
Bro, I'll never forget Deku City. That actually hurt me. That.
Oh god.
It doesn't and necessarily like it doesn't like offend me so much because it's like the background. You're usually looking at the characters. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But whenever they do like a panning shot or a wide shot, like I remember when you have the heroes and like it's just like a pure environment shot with like Jaku Hospital. I remember looking at the trees like, can we move on? Can we move on, please?
Yeah.
But yeah, we also get some information about Principal Nezu in this little opening scene.
Yeah.
He's loaded. He's got money for.
He's got a lot.
He's got a lot of money, and it's because he's like
Rat boy genius.
rat boy genius
You're a
who's
boy
like
genius.
revered, like
Yeah.
beloved,
Feared.
feared around the world.
He's feared. His
And he's
immense
probably
power.
solved like all technological like issues.
He's
of his quirk.
he found the cure for cancer. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could buy and sell every one of you.
Oh, there's another way.
Oh,
We're
yes.
spending a lot of time on this, but it's kind of like
It's important.
semi important. But like once all of the sections of UA have gone underground, then like the mechanisms will all like shift in shape and become like a big stack of like steel like plates, right? To basically like delay the Shigaraki's like decay waves,
Mhm.
right? And even Momo brings up like, hey, why did you build that if this was like before we knew that like Shigaraki could like level cities? And he was just like, I had a feeling that it would be good.
He's smart.
he's a smart guy.
I don't trust him.
Yeah.
I don't
Something about him.
trust.
His smiley little face, his
Bro, we
adorable
got
little
like
paws.
2 volumes left, and you're gonna suss them out now. Like,
Yeah. He's gonna betray them for sure.
like the last chapter, he's just like, actually, All for One had a point, and then, then it blows up, and then they
Oh my
win.
god,
He
yeah.
takes the
Everyone
mask
had
off
a
and he has
point.
All for One's face.
What you failed to realize is I was tutoring you this entire time because I planned it in the little rat boy.
It is
Oh my
mentioned that
God.
he is a little bit of a sadist and enjoys like taking out his anger occasionally on humans. Like when
Mhm.
it comes to like them like tests or whatever.
Y-
It was shown some seasons back.
Your detail.
that little detail, I know, random tangent, but just the thought came to mind. I used to have a theory that he was like the first Nomu, because Overhaul talks about how
my
Corpse
God.
came from rats, and he's got some mouse DNA in him, and he's got the scar, and he said he was experimented on by humans, and then we got introduced to Godaki, and I was like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Doesn't
like-
seem there was any connection though.
Yeah. But like
besides those, it just kind of like went flat.
the basic like thing that you could have done for a character like him is him like hating humans. But I like to think that he's so smart to where he's like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's your
That's
point.
stupid.
So he's just like, I could just make the world a better place.
With a Chad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, yeah.
But yeah, after that, we kind of come back to the present, and it picks up where last left off with the citizens just not letting Deku stay in UA, and Uraraka, she runs up, she grabs President Mike's megaphone, and she heads up to the top of UA and gets everyone's attention. And she pretty much just tells them that Deku has a special ability, a special power that is designed specifically to defeat All for One. And that even though he has this power, this like special, like superpower, he's not like a special like person. He's not like a god who can just go out and just do all of this by himself without having to, rest and recover. And so she's pleading with the people, like, he's a kid. Like, look at him. Let him rest here. And then there's this one asshole in the crowd who's like, we looked at him. So what? You want us to get all beat up like that too? And she's like, no, you dipshit. The heroes are gonna do that.
Nah, I couldn't have been a hero. I would have been like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like if I could, I'm not a better person. I've been like, you're a bitch.
Like,
You're
are you
actually a bitch.
stupid? Like,
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to reassure to these people that this is only like a temporary setup. Just let him like take a shower and take a nap and eat some food,
Yeah.
and then he can go back and like protect y'all. But they're still kind of not hearing it. But they see that Kota, the little boy from like seasons ago, with that Deku saved from Muscular, he runs up and he embraces Deku and he's like, I thought I have to be like you, so I'm here now. You don't have to cry anymore. And Deku's just on the floor like sobbing because he's finally able to just let all of his like backed up emotions out. And the Uraraka's performance, the voice actress's performance, the music choice is just so goddamn good this episode.
They use that same song they play with Deku and Shigaraki from the other podcast I was on that made me cry and made me do it again. The Yane Sakura this time. Stop it.
Yeah, he's completely broken down on his knees and crying, and even the Fox lady from a few episodes ago is here, and she gives him a hug. And
I love Ordinary Woman.
Ordinary Woman.
Yeah,
so
ordinary
much.
woman, ordinary girl.
And as this is happening, another voice like speaks up, and it's like old Star guy with the
From like
star
episodes,
ears
chapter 1.
from like episode 1.
Oh, wait, that's him? Oh my
That's
god.
him. You even get to see him like in the credits, and
He's really good. Apparently Hori confirmed that he doesn't remember Deku specifically though, which is like understandable, but a shame. But it's still awesome that he's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Starhorn's guy pretty much like he also like speaks up to the crowd, and he's like, we've been living our lives just looking at these heroes like they're characters on the stage, right? And then we're just the audience members, and that we don't really do anything but look as these gods like protect us, especially in the era of All Might, where All Might literally was almost like a god who can solve all of our problems, but he's not around anymore. And we've lost sight that these people are people, and we need to do everything in our power to also help them out. And the asshole citizen guy is like, he turns to Deku and he's like, "What? If you stay here, will you be able to like bring everything back?" And Deku's like, I will save the day. I will bring this. I will bring society back because I got my friends with me, and we're gonna do this."
Mhm.
Yeah,
And so
because we're Sonic heroes.
the citizens welcome him back. I hope they all fucking said sorry.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
pricks.
please.
With
'Cause, like,
tears.
The star guy
With-
even makes the point, like, if a bunch of heroes have resigned, so if we just like target these heroes who are still trying their best to work and
Mhm.
help society, then what good does that do us?
It does them no good, like
Mhm.
at all.
Like with a society that was so dependent on heroes, and now that society is crumbling, and motherfuckers are still expecting heroes to do something, even though
Yeah.
like everything has gone to shit. It's like the dude said, like we forgot their humanity.
It kind of reminds me of like the reporter talking to Endeavor and Hawks and Genist at their like press conference, where she's kind of like egging them on, and the only thing like Endeavor and them can say is like, "Okay, what do you want us to do?" And even though she and the other like people in the crowd are like, we hate heroes, this and that, da 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 da, the one thing they want the heroes to do is be heroes.
Yeah,
Like the thing that you are the thing that you are criticizing is ultimately what you want.
yeah,
And that's what the people kind of hear, like, realize, and like, but they don't just realize that, they realize that they also need to play a part in like helping these people, because they're not gods.
Yeah. They're just people.
hmm
We get to see a little shot. We get to see some flashback shots of Uraraka as a little baby, and
she's so cute. She's so
Tiny.
cute, bro. She's
and
so
what like
adorable.
inspired her to
Mhm.
want to become a hero.
Because she was saying like it was less like doing like the hero work stuff, and more just seeing like how that hero work impacts other people, like seeing how happy they can be
Yeah.
Mhm.
in these moments.
She's even doing like a little giddy little like dance as she's watching it.
Mhm.
It's so
Yeah.
cute.
She's
It's
so
so adorable.
adorable.
I'm like, I know people are like, "Oh, Uraraka for the money," or like, "Uraraka just like copying
No,
Deku,"
for the
but
people, for the family, for the friends.
I've always loved her motive of who saves the heroes when they need saving, because that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
cool. I
That's
like
good.
that a lot for her.
And she's
That's a
doing
cool
it
motivation.
like this is her time. Like, this is finally that question that she's had. She's stepping into that role with
Mhm.
this whole like speech.
Yeah. She's putting her. She's doing her actions.
This is her
wanna-
hero work.
It's her work.
we I want to talk about
putting
Sakura,
money where her mouth is, or whatever. What the word?
whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
The saying goes.
I want to talk about Ayana Sakura's voice performance
Sakura.
in
Mhm.
this episode. She didn't have rent due. She was paying the goddamn mortgage. with
Yeah.
this episode.
It's true.
Down
Like,
payment.
it is probably the most heart-wrenching, gripping performance I've seen or heard in an anime, either ever or in a long ass time. 'Cause
Yeah.
the from just like the screaming to like the cracks in the voice to the small breaths in between sentences.
The way there's like a build up from like unsure and nervous to defiant and confident and passionate. Like you said, all the voice cracks. I remember her prefacing on Twitter before the episode aired. It's like, this is like a really big moment for her. I hope I do it justice. Oh my god, she exceeded all expectation.
She was told she was gonna die tomorrow, and this was her last
her last performance.
I can't wait to see the dub.
Lucy Christian, the ball's in your corner, and I know you're gonna do great too.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Is like, of course, the English dub is great, and I'm sure that they'll do a fantastic job. But like, will it capture the exact same feeling?
Mm-hmm.
I think like either way, this is a very notable, extremely powerful performance from the show in Japanese, and even if it doesn't hit those same notes exactly, like the fact we got this at all in the original Japanese, like, oh man, what an amazing way to carry that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna keep talking about the music choices are so damn good.
So good.
Whenever they play, you can be a hero. It never fails. It's just like You Say Run. Like whenever it works, it works.
My Hero's got one of the most like
iconic
memorable,
OSTs.
Iconic OSTs, like right up there with AOT. It sticks every time.
Mm-hmm.
And if the music choice for this entire season has been like really, really good.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about music,
they haven't been pulling the stuff from previous seasons where they make a song for a scene and then they don't use that song.
Oh my god, yeah. Like Deku versus Bakugo.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Mirio's theme. What's it called again? Izuku versus Kachan? That's weird.
I forgot to bring this up, but it was in my notes for last episode. But since we're still talking about the music, with like You Say Run and You Can Be a Hero and a lot of these like iconic songs, especially You Say Run, the best part about You Say Run's uses is of how infrequent it is. And I saw I saw there was either a Twitter post or like a YouTube comment that, to paraphrase, sort of said like You Say Run might go with everything, but because it doesn't go with everything, that's what makes it hit so hard.
Yeah, like it makes the inclusion of the song, like when it does show up, even more like special, because you're like, oh, it's fucking You Say Run.
Yeah, because there was at least one per like season. It felt like season 4 had Might plus You instead. I guess Might for just the season version. But
did season 3 have? I don't think season 3 played You Say Run at all.
Did 3 not have it?
It has Deku versus Kachan, which uses the same leitmotif as You Say Run.
That,
and I think
that counts. Does it?
That Run also played once, but like it hasn't. You Say Run, the entire song in a scene has not played, I think, since like season 2 of like with like the culture festival.
That's crazy.
The sports festival. We have 2 festival arts.
Because then they brought it back this season with the Kirishima scene with Makia.
Yeah, but they got cut off. Yeah.
And then the masterful use in the 1A fight, which was great. So, like you said, sparingly, but powerful. I'm struggling to remember the exact place that it plays, but the song called "The Last Wielder" on the soundtrack. His Hayashi's music director told him, "Can you make a song that surpasses You Say Run?" And he was like, "Are you kidding me?
Are you serious?"
And he ended up being very like disappointed with the final product, because it's like, I can't possibly live
How
up to
do you
that
surpass
expectation.
you say run?
He was like, this is my greatest work. I can't like do that, but
You
it
also
turned out
can't-
really well.
The Last Wielder is a great song, and if you don't know what it is, it's the Lady in a Gaunt fight, the big
Yes.
Manchester Smash.
That's where it plays. Thank you.
Like that song is great and it's hype, but it's not You Say Run.
It's not.
It's like,
And
bro,
and
no.
like hearing that song, hearing that the reason that song exists is because of like, well, a corporate wants You Say Run but better, make it. It's a little sad.
Yeah.
But it was more like we want a really powerful song for this scene, like You Say Run.
Mm-hmm.
Could you make something that captures that same energy? And he's like,
No.
You couldn't really, because You Say Run uses the leitmotif of the main theme of the show. It is like the show is ingrained into that song.
Yeah.
While Last Wielder is, great, and it represents like a lot of things.
That scene specifically.
Yeah, like You Say Run is the main theme, and like elements spread to the rest of the show. So whenever that main theme plays, yeah, it's a big mark. It leaves a big mark.
Like,
it hits you.
Too iconic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I always thought that I thought that was really interesting that he straight up was like, no way.
Yeah, he's like, what how?
How?
It's impossible.
Speaking of like, well, Seth, you go.
I was just commenting on how it was impossible to recapture. Go ahead.
Speaking of interesting music choice, there is like, after her whole speech and everyone's like, okay, he can come in.
Okay.
They play like a slowed down version of All Might's theme. And it's also like Endeavor's also there, and I connected like it would be so sick if in the future Endeavor had like a really like big scene and All Might's theme played.
Something similar to that effect is when Endeavor's own theme, Just Another Hero, which is a darker vocal version of the My Hero Academia theme. When he fights High End, it plays the normal My Hero Academia theme as to show that progression of his character, which is like, that's awesome musical storytelling.
That would also be sweet. They've not played like that vocal version like again.
Yeah, because it's like he grew out of it.
Yeah,
but it's still a really good song though. Like...
It's so weird. That song kind of like that song captures like the journey of Endeavor like really well. Except I don't think the journey of Endeavor was even written yet.
Yeah, it was.
They did a fucking Sawano, like they were ahead of the game.
Yeah,
it's like, I know where this character's gonna go.
I see how it goes. Hold on, guys.
Yeah.
There's also a little bit as Deku is being welcomed into UA once again. We go to see Endeavor and Hawks and Shoto, who are all watching this happen.
Yeah,
and Shoto like reassures Endeavor that like, yo, we are in this together. We get a little bit and flash of Dabi once again.
They just love doing these anime original stitches for Dabi, and I appreciate them because they all look great.
I appreciate it too. Yeah.
And Hawks has a little moment where he realizes that like he is looking at the future that he is hoping for. Like this, if everyone can just like come together and think of everyone else except for just themselves.
Yeah.
They're one step closer into this like world where heroes might not necessarily like be needed anymore, if everyone is coming together to be all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, you could see in his eyes he's kind of like starstruck, like, wow, this is what I want to see.
Like we haven't seen that look on his face since he was a kid.
Yeah.
So, it's just like so heartwarming.
It is.
We also get Principal Nezu and his human-sized cell phone, which is too big for him.
Oh yeah, he's so
And-
tiny. He had to be carried earlier in the palm of someone's hand.
often in shots with him and other teachers, he'll just be like on their shoulder.
Yeah.
It's funny.
He had his phone open the entire time with Aizawa on the other end of the line, who is awake now and up in his hospital bed. He's got like a eye patch, and he's got a full metal leg.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a Full Metal Alchemist leg.
Yeah, he's fucking.
What were they
now.
called?
Automail.
Automail. He's got
Automail.
automail. He's got an automail leg, and
He rocks the eye patch as much as it makes me
Oh
yeah,
my
sad.
he's
God.
He does.
he's epic. He's epic.
it looks so cool.
When I
a
first saw in the
soldier.
manga, I was like, "Oh, it's really sad, but I like it."
But
He
it's
looks
like you're hard
badass.
now.
Yeah, you're hard now.
Yeah.
Tough.
He even says like a really nice line. Please tell the class rep that he did a good job. Like,
Mm.
Papa Aizawa, bro.
Yeah.
Those are his
Kids.
children.
Awesome.
His
Those are
dumb
his
kids.
kids. Yeah.
He
cares
loves
about
those
them.
kids so much.
What's that one fan art where it's got the shirt that says like "Proud Father," a couple of dumbass kids.
Yeah.
But
I advise also, just once again, if anyone has not read My Hero Vigilantes, read that because you get to see a lot more of Aizawa's like character development towards being a teacher. It's really
Mhm.
interesting.
you get to see like a prequel version of Aizawa that is like not the same guy.
Yeah.
Despite all my hero-ness and all my like hyperfixation obsession, the only part of Vigilantes I read are the first 3 volumes and the Aizawa stuff, because the
Heck.
Aizawa stuff was the most interesting to me.
Yeah.
There's some
It-
really cool things in Vigilantes.
There is. You could see Sleepy Might.
Sleepy
I
All
like
Might
the
with
little
the
chapter
cap
with
and
his-
the
Yeah.
And the
candle.
candle.
I
I
like
still
that he
haven't
met
read it.
Suka Uchi. That was really nice.
Yeah.
There's also a bit with it's revealed that Kurogiri has been moved to Central Hospital, so that's why he wasn't broken out of Tartarus. And Aizawa has been talking to him like almost like every day, trying to get through to him because they're confident that they can get through to Shirakumo, who is inside of Kurogiri.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like no progress, but like there's still hope there. And the episode after that, the episode kind of ends with I completely forgot. They introduced the concept of like once people come into the UA facility, they're isolated for a bit because they've actually calculated how long Toga can transform into a person using the research that Chiketsu had when
Okay,
they had
that's
their,
cool.
when they had their imposter situation.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with All Might's leaving. He's in the Batmobile. He's driving down the highway, and Stain is still following him. And we get close above his eye, and that's where the episode ends.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some people that didn't realize that was Stain following him until he saw his eye, and I'm like, did the big tongue not give it away?
Come on, man. Who's
It
got
was
the most like pimply tongue?
Pimply?
Yeah.
Why would you-
Yeah, it is
Ew,
called
It's all
pimply,
bubbly if you
bro.
look at it.
Describe it like that.
It's disgusting.
That's his.
Also-
That's his. Taste buds.
He's definitely got a lot of STDs.
I love
What-
his little
what-
fit. He's got like a cool jacket and like
I mean,
he
he
consumes
drinks.
blood.
he's
Yeah.
He
drippy.
drinks like blood.
I was like, I don't think Stain is fucking, but he does drink people's blood. So
Yeah.
He
I don't think
definitely a
Stain is
little fucked up.
He definitely has a lot of like something in him. It's disgusting.
I'm gonna cry over this weird sword man.
So there was the big scene with Kota and the Fox Lady running up to Deku, and even just like bits of Uraraka's speech, especially when Deku like gets down and he's crying on his knees, that parallels the very beginning of the story of when All Might tells him that he can be a hero.
Yeah.
It even has the same harmony cell. It's a different color, but it's literally like the exact same like
Pose and everything.
poses and everything, and the same music too. So, and I love the line. This is the story of how I became the greatest hero, and this is the story of how we all became the greatest heroes, because it wraps the entire narrative back to the beginning.
Yeah,
Everything
it's
up
really
until
satisfying.
from episode 1, like this is the story of how I became the greatest hero.
Yeah.
That was leading up all the way to here. Like this is where like the story ends, and where like the like now we're telling like the new story of how we all became the greatest heroes.
Hmm.
Which I know people were like, oh, but it's corny. But I think it just makes sense with the story they're telling.
It's called
especially in this
it's a
arc.
callback.
It's
You
a
know,
callback.
I'm gonna put my foot down. This is a children's manga about superheroes with colorful characters and fun superpowers. It can be a little corny sometimes. It's okay.
An
It's
optimistic
okay.
message.
It's okay. It's at the end of
Friendship.
okay.
Be a cornball sometimes.
Here
It's
is
fine.
The whole arc's been pushing against the idea of a single symbol of peace. That's why this whole arc happened. So them changing from one single man in Deku to a united force within Class A that describes the message well.
even Superman needs the Justice League. Okay?
Exactly.
And as we've seen with the last episode and this episode, I'm gonna say it: the power of friendship is fucking amazing.
Mhm.
And anyone who says otherwise or hates it or thinks it's a lame trope, you're just lonely.
You're
You
lame
got
and you
no
need friends.
You have
and-
no-
Sad. Take
You
a
have
look in the
no
mirror.
friends. Like people say like, oh, the power of friendship is lame, is an ass pull. But like, if you really think about it, has there ever been a moment when you are down, you feel like you can't do anything, and you talk to your friends, they gas you up, you work together, and you accomplish the thing you were trying to do? Like that happens all of the time.
Yeah. Or like if you're doing something, even if you're on your own, and you're like, what motivates you to keep going? What motivates you to fucking like persevere? What is motivating you to like it's your fucking family and friends, bitch. The people in your life
True.
that made you be who the person that you are today. Like
It's and like you can like, okay, is it a little corny for like a story? Maybe, sure, but you have to remember who the primary demographic of this anime is, and it's young teens. And what do young teens have? They have friend groups. They have like school problems that like a lot of kids are like on sports teams, right? So like how do you accomplish anything in a sport? Well, you work together as friends, as a team. That's like that's the core like of this fucking genre. That's why I'm a little upset when people get fairy tale shit for it, because like it does the same exact things that One Piece or Dragon Ball Z or Naruto does, you know, or MHA.
Yeah,
it's a good trope, and I will stand by it, especially if it's done well. Because like I'll throw you a bone here. It can be done a little bad, right? I think maybe Soul Eater might be an example of it being kind of bad, with the literal like, oh, I have a friend, like friendship punch to beat the bad guy who was actually invincible. You know, it was a little corny, like there. But like, especially when it's done well, it's like it works. It's good.
Sometimes
Go get some friends, please.
Sometimes,
Find
like,
some homies.
especially nowadays, sometimes I just need a little optimism,
Like,
friends,
not only is
friendship.
that a good thing for kids to hear, but like some of you fucking adults need to hear that shit too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Even if it's corny, acknowledge the uplifting, optimistic messages.
it's
of
uplifting as
the
hell.
story. It's like
It makes me
That's-
feel good.
exactly. That's all
Yeah.
it's meant to do.
Yeah, it was a good episode once again.
Probably one of the best this season.
Hmm
Like this.
Say the line, Seth. This was the best episode of My Hero.
Yeah. These like last stretch of episodes are consistently emotionally devastating, and I love them for that. So,
Yeah, it's probably
very much a highlight.
they're my favorite group of. They're like these are some of my favorite groups of chapters in the entire manga,
Mm-hmm.
and it continues into the next episode as well.
Well,
Okay, My Hero Academia, season 6, episode 25, the season finale. No Man is an Island.
we're here.
We're here. This is it. This is the end of season 6.
The end of My Hero forever.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
More seasons.
No,
Beautiful place to leave it, honestly.
there's definitely one more season left, I feel. They're definitely going to do one more.
You think one more?
At
I
the
mean,
very,
like,
at the
we
very
talk-
least.
I think
One
one
more
more,
episode.
but one more with like
Season
that's
20.
longer. Also, just like a little more episode count because
Like 27 episodes.
Possibly.
because there's not enough for a season 7 and 8, but there's also
Too
like,
much for just
too
one
much.
season,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
than just
dude, they're gonna do a
season
My
7.
Hero movie that's like canon and
Oh, God.
adapts the rest of it.
I think they're just gonna do what AOT does. We're gonna get My Hero Academia, the final season, final chapters, part 1.
It would be cool if we got if we did get like not a movie but like hour long like we get the 25 episode season and then we get 26 and 7 which are both like specials or something.
I would
Mhm.
enjoy that.
But we are not there yet because we have one more episode of this season to get through. And this one is pretty damn good. For a season finale, it is a little I don't want to say it was weak.
It was
It was a
one of the
little
weaker ones.
lackluster.
I liked the story content because like
Yeah.
we'll get into it, but there's some good stuff. But like it is a pretty like looking back, it's a pretty weak finale. Like it doesn't feel like a finale.
I don't
feel
know,
like-
bro. Season 5 ended on training.
Yeah,
And
it did. You're right.
Oh, God.
For me, these like I love these chapters a lot. Well, specifically the one that it opens with, and then where the tantalizing place that they leave us off in this episode. But I think it works because a lot of the major beats have already been settled, so a big bombastic finale isn't really to be expected. So
Right.
Yeah.
if
Right.
we're gonna have a low stakes finale, at least it's a really interesting one, in my opinion.
It's
There
more
is-
hopeful.
There's like a way that I would have made it like complete like there's a way I would have made it how it would be like completely the same, but like there would be one thing I would change, but I'll talk about that after the summary.
Might be
Yeah.
the same as me.
Yeah. So the episode picks up where the last one left off with All Might driving away in the All Might mobile with Stain tailing him, and he goes to the Camino ward in front of the statue. And if you notice, Todoroki's ice is still there. Like it hasn't melted, melted yet. But All Might, he's kind of down bad right now. He's lamenting his failures as
Down
like
bad.
Yeah, why is
hero.
he down bad? Like
he's down and he's feeling
down.
bad. He's down
Down sad.
bad. Down
Down
sad.
sad.
down
Down
sad.
depressed.
and
Down awful.
he's just kind of like, wallowing in his own failures. But then
Moping,
that's
yeah.
when Stain comes by and he puts his sword to All Might's neck, and he's like, "You take that back. Take back what you said about All Might." And he's like, oh yeah, you've been in prison a while. Hold on, let me show you." And he like turns into his like All Might form for like a second, and then like immediately turns back and starts coughing. And Stain isn't having it. He refuses to believe that
His
that
face.
this is All Might, And like I think obviously Stain knows, yeah, that is All Might. It's the same guy, but it's not like
He's not the
All
old
Might.
All Might.
That's
Yeah.
not the hero who's gonna like
Yeah.
smile through,
I miss the old All Might.
straight from the
Go
go.
All Might.
But yeah, All Might's kind of like he's in his feelings about not being able, like feeling like he's unable to make any sort of difference in the world right now, and that's when Stain like he grabs him and he's like, "Look," and it's this woman who's like taking down the "I am not here" sign on the statue and cleaning it up, and it turns out this woman is the same woman from the Camino Ward battle who is the last person that All Might like saved, right? And Stain tells All Might like, it wasn't the powers that made you great, okay? Like All Might's true quirk was being able to inspire people and to keep this like burning like flame of hope and heroism like burning that the world like needs.
Yeah.
Now All Might is like gone, essentially. The world is crumbling, but we need to keep that. We can't let that flame die out. And we get like this group shot of like Class A, and it looks like a fucking Marvel movie poster, but it's fine.
Don't let the flame die out.
But he's giving All Might these like words of encouragement. He's like being like he's kind of being like roundabout about if he actually believes that is All Might. Like obviously he knows, right? Because he ends up giving him these little like discs with data on them. Like they're not discs; they look more like
Clear little glass things.
clear
I
little
don't know.
glass squares. Like what are they called? You put like specimens on them and look under them
like
in a
you put
microscope.
them under the microscope. That's what
Yeah.
they are.
That's
okay,
what they
yeah,
look.
those things.
That's not what they are, but that's what they look like.
Mm.
But these have data from Charteris about like All for One and like all of the escapees and stuff. And Stain tells him like, "Okay, I've given you that. Now, when the time is right, you gotta fucking come and kill me." Like All Might's gotta come and kill Stain, the guy who's killed 40 heroes, and he leaves like a badass. He doesn't just hand him. He doesn't just hand him the data like a normal human. He throws it on the ground. He like throws it with like attached to a knife, and it like lands near All Might's foot.
Which like you poked a hole through the paper, dog. Like come
Yeah,
on.
it's all
Now I
right.
can't
It's all
even
wet
read
now
it.
too.
Yeah, like I know you're trying to be cool with it, but like come on.
I've seen reactions of like, wait, does he actually not think he's All Might? It's like,
It's obviously some like
reading comprehension
not some
0.
yeah, not symbolic, but like he's not talking about the man himself. He's talking about the symbol of hope.
Mhm.
the soul of
Because
All Might.
obviously the All Might that as we know it is he's not a thing anymore. So like
If he didn't think that was actually All Might, why would he be following him?
yeah, and why would he give him information? Why would he be talking to him as if he is a hero too? Like, come on, y'all.
As Stain's always done best, he is testing All Might's conviction,
Mhm.
who his own conviction was built around. And it's a
Yeah.
fantastic, like, kind of closure on the All Might character, in his current state, because ever since he lost his powers, we've been kind of flirting with the idea of how useless he feels and how, you know, it's like, oh, wholesome dad might, but inside he's like, I hate this. I am supposed to be a symbol. I feel so powerless and worthless, and I'm leaving everything to my successor, and I can't help. And he's just so frustrated, and even trying to confide in Aizawa and being like, just you being alive counts, but that's not enough for All Might. So having Stain kind of wake him up and reaffirm what Aizawa was saying, of all people, Stain to do so, using that really awesome full circle from Kamino with that one citizen.
That's been the theme of these last 3 episodes, is just bringing certain things full circle from the beginning.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I this is kind of no spoilers, but I can't really recall any like future Stain stuff as of right now. But for now, this is kind of like Stain's like exit from the story in a way, where like his obviously his whole like ideal of like the perfect hero like obviously doesn't exist anymore. So now the world has gone to shit. So Stan's whole ideology was right in a way. And now he's assisting All Might in like in any way that he can to sort of bring the world back, and then he leaves with the last thing he says being like, when the time is right, come and kill me. It's like a nice little send-off for him, at least in this season. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole story.
I
hope we see him again.
I will say I am kind of really sad that that's all they did with Stain in this section of the story, but I get that there's not enough time to cover everything, because Stain interacting with the League in its current form after he was the foundation for that group originally, and seeing how he planted the seed of conviction within Shigaraki and how that wicked flower bloomed, how Toga and Dabi are distorted versions of his own vision, and how he feels about them, how Spinner would react to meeting his idol from back then, and how that's kind of changed moving into Shigaraki. I would have loved all those interactions. We didn't get any, though, which is really sad.
I think, though, that what we did get was pretty, like, top tier.
That's exactly why I wanted more, because what we did get was awesome with All Might, and I loved that.
That's why I want to see more in the future, because if this is really, like, the last Stain scene, it'll be a good scene, but would it be the perfect way to say goodbye to the character? So that's why I'm, like, he says, like, come and find me, like, when the time is right. So that might mean that we might see him again. Like, 100%, I think.
I love that. Just a simple acknowledgement after the dust is settled. Just something.
Horikoshi likes just acknowledging past characters, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's true. No one gets left behind.
No one does.
Characters in My Hero tend to, like, have, like, really good and, like, really great importance in, like, their introduction. Then they'll, like, fade into the background for a while, and then when they are necessary, they'll, like, come back to the foreground.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, it's Brimblo Bimblo.
It's that
from,
guy!
like, 2 seasons ago.
God, I'm so happy Shindo is back. No one said that. Not a single person. No human.
I think the entire country of Japan's population of teenage girl readers
would disagree with
well, you know what? They have seconds to live.
No, you're gonna kill all of them?
That's what you get for going above Shiggy. You get the Shiggy treatment.
Every Shindo fangirl just died.
It turns into dust.
But that was just the opening scene. That was before the opening. The last time we played this opening. The last time. Because
I'm gonna miss you, Bokura no. You became
I'm gonna miss you, Eve.
the best My Hero opening, in my opinion, in
Yeah.
over a night.
Mm-hmm.
But after that scene ends, we're finally back at UA, and the first thing we see is the Class A boys round up Deku, strip him of his clothes,
And give
throw
him
him in
a
the
fucking
shower.
shower. Because
that boy smell rancid.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know he smelled like shit in the fucking the tub.
we get a really strange view of Mineta with Deku's legs.
Yeah, like
Next to Kaminari, bare ass up in the air. You know what this is? This is Horikoshi just like this is balancing out in season 3 with the girls in the hot spring. This is the balance. This is the balance.
Yeah.
They gotta have the boys be butt booty naked in the shower.
and they're all
In their-
chilling in the showy.
in their weird green polluted bathtub.
It is green, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
probably
I
just
think it's either the color of the tile, or it could be like there's some like nice stuff in the water to make
Nah,
it like
they put some bath bombs in there, you know.
Yeah.
The All My
That's shit
Brand bath
the
bombs.
that's shit the Ra's al Ghul pit that brought Red Hood back to life. I don't care. That shit's infected.
that shit is
Also-
fucking chemicals in it.
Also, even though Bakugo, you know, he's mellowed out, he's apologized, he's still Bakugo.
He's still Bakugo.
So
Yeah, like, he's
he
still Bakugo.
cannonballs into the bathtub and like splashes everybody. And he's like, "You like nothing has changed. I'm still like you're still my rivals, Baka. You know,
Babak.
I'm gonna be number 1." And he's like, including you, Izuku.
Just,
It's so
really
weird hearing him
funny.
say like his actual name.
it's
Strange.
so satisfying. I love that.
Yeah,
frame.
it is. I'm just not used to it.
There's a really good frame of him of Deku getting splashed in the face.
Put an impact frame on.
Mhm.
They did this in the manga, but the anime does it very subtly. The like little sensor cloud over Bakugo is the onomatopoeia for ding dong,
Oh, really?
which is hilarious.
Hold up.
That's really funny.
Oh my
Oh,
god, it
I
is.
think it is letters. Oh my god.
It's very vague, but you can see it, yeah.
Also, you can see his scars of like where he got punctured.
Oh god.
Those are big ass scars. God damn.
Boy got roughed up.
Anyway,
Mhm.
enough about naked boys.
We're back.
After the bath scene, Deku's in the common room with the rest of Class A. Everyone just looks so like clean and fluffy. Like everyone just got out the shower and
They're all
nice.
so
Yeah.
cute. Everyone's so cute,
Um,
and just because it feels kind of normal, you know. Like yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's back.
And they're chilling, but and everyone's kind of like pressing like Deku, like, oh, what's One for All feel like? Like, what is like? How does that feel like in your body? And Todoroki's like, he comes in like sexy man style, like his like stupid face and like cocked to the side, and his
Mhm.
like hand behind his head, like wiping his like hair. And Mineta even kind of makes fun of him. He's like, "Why did you walk into the room like that?" And like he's
trying to
like
look
copying
cool.
him, trying to
Yeah.
look cool. But Todoroki says like, "Yo, guys, like let him fucking sleep. He's probably very tired." And Deku's like, "I was kind of mean to All Might a couple of episodes ago. I can't really sleep until I talk to him." And coincidentally, All Might is in the window.
Yeah, like Todoroki points, and he's like,
Like a ghost.
Yeah, scary.
So he comes in and first he apologizes for not being able to help Deku, and Deku reassures him like, no, it's fine. You help me. And Mina kind of yells at him too, and All Might like snaps back and he's like, all right, serious business. The final battle is just really soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys,
wake
the,
up,
the
Deku.
manga ends soon.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, back in the manga, it was kind of left vague, like what happened to All Might. At least it felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the anime, I think they did at least a good job at like making it not like seem so vague. Like, what happened? Did he die or something? Did stay or whatever? I don't know. Because like as soon as he just appears, he's like, it's like, oh, okay, never mind. I guess he's okay. But it's not as much as like a sudden flash for me, or like compared to the manga.
I think
I
that
guess.
helps that it's like all in one cohesive like episode rather than like
Yeah,
the chapter
exactly.
break in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that helps.
But
Anyway.
yeah, he tells the class that he was handed like data from Tartarus, and that basically the final battle is approaching,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to see a little scene with him talking to Detective Sukauchi and the rest of the police, and
Dilf.
yeah, like the Delphification Sukauchi's character design with like
Good.
the gruffness, and he looks bigger too. It might just be the tactical gear because he's wearing like tactical gear, but he looks bigger too.
Yeah.
And like the police, there's a police like cat guy that we've saw before. He's here too, and they're
Yeah.
like discussing. They're discussing some like of the intricacies of how All for One was able to break out, because as All Might kind of compares it to One for All, where the vestige inside of One for All is able to receive information from the real person.
Yeah.
But not the other way around. But it's weird how All for One is able to do that with his two bodies. Well, it turns out that the radio waves quirk is how they were able to communicate with each other, and were able to coordinate their like plan and other things. And they're analyzing the radio waves that was picked up on a device at Tartarus that Stain had stolen from one of the head guards and gave to All Might. And essentially, it's the timeline of when All for One Shigaraki's like process will be complete. Now that was a month ago. Like he got it a month ago, and it said that it would be 38 days.
Yep.
Until he's complete. So if you fast forward to the present time, that means that Shigaraki has 3 more days until he is at his most powerful.
Which the anime does a really nice favor for me specifically, and animates
Okay, what is
a
that?
really nice shot of him in the suit with the cape, and he's all evil and shit as like a
Yeah.
hypothetical thing. And
But
it
that's
make
All
me
for
happy.
One, not Shigaraki.
It's not even
Shut up!
Shiguro.
He has this pretty face. I don't
not
care
the
if it's
real.
a dumb thumb lord underneath that sexy, beautiful face. But I'm in control now. I'm the villain. Shut up. You smell bad.
True.
You suck and you need to
That
die.
sack face.
C-tier ass.
But because Shigaraki is just so close to being completed, All Might put in a request at for foreign heroes to come and help. And we even get to see like the UN like have like a big like meeting with a bunch of like TV screens. Of course, we don't see any character designs. They're all like in shadows.
Yeah.
But like they're saying like, yeah, you know, our heroes, they're itching to help, but you know, we got a lot of we got crime here, and we got like, you know, there's complications.
All for One has people in like other countries as well.
Yeah,
Apparently.
they can't just leave their country defenseless. And we get to see some cameos from heroes from the third movie. We get to see the Egyptian hero who was like hieroglyphics 2D guy. and we get to see the one of the heroes. He was a hero from the movies. His name's like Big Red Dot. He's like a lion guy, and they're like, yeah, they can't leave. We gotta deal with like the all for one like shenanigans here. What about you? What about you, America? And they're like, she already left. What? Yeah, she's gone.
And
we couldn't stop her.
We get to see
the United States of America's #1 hero. Hero named Star and Stripe.
Not Stars and Stripes. Star and Stripes, singular.
Singular. And she's the most unapologetically Captain America All Might fusion girl that there's ever been, and she's voiced by Romy Park, who brought you Edward Elric, and she's awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about like who
Yep.
could like voice her, and like Romy Park is such a good
It's
choice.
so yeah, it's like so perfect because like I of course like envision like a deep like kind of bit of a booming like female voice, and that just works perfectly.
And
She's big. She's real big.
She's a big girl. She's a big girl. She's perfect. She's everything. She's the world.
She is incredible. Probably like the most jacked female.
This is the most jacked like woman Horikoshi has drawn.
Yeah.
And
she's
she
great
is
in
like
everything.
as beefy as All Might.
Probably like, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And you know what's funny is that her character design is essentially that, you know, that one meme that's like be the American the Japanese think we are. You know? That is who she is.
Basically,
this was a character that like I was very much looking forward to seeing her in the show, even if it wasn't this season. I was like, we need to see her.
Me too.
And I want to talk about something because no, actually, you know what? Go ahead.
I have just a small detail. Something interesting about her is that like in the original like concept and like sketches, she was originally just gonna be a guy, just some guy. But Horikoshi eventually like changed him to her, which is a great choice.
The best decision he's made.
Yes.
Thank you, Horikoshi.
It was a great decision, yeah.
And following Nagan, this was just the thank you for women season.
Thank you for women. America, Lady Nagant, Star and Stripe, like
the women of all time.
Put that in the poll. What who do you vote for?
Yeah.
We cannot pit these queens against each other.
No, they can coexist.
Like, if you're an anime only, and you might be if you're listening to this, this character goes insane. Like it's so
oh man. Next season, it's gonna be the beginning of next season, which is crazy.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of scared they would cut this part.
Yeah. Sorry, Seth. Go ahead.
I don't want to make promises because last time I made promises about MHA content being adapted, I got season 5. But with season 6's just solid track record of quality, I'm 100% sure it'll transfer to season 7. And just by the way that this scene looks above the clouds, like with the sun rising, if this is like the lighting that's gonna be for a certain event, and like this is the way it's gonna look, it's gonna be like
pretty,
so good. It's gonna be so pretty.
Cannot wait. Just one more allude for our anime onlys. Horikoshi literally made this character to make the most over-the-top event that he could, and he succeeded.
Yeah, that shit's gonna go fucking bonkers.
It's one of my favorite moments. Because season 7's content is just gonna be so good. I don't know what to say.
It's gonna be a lot.
Without spoiling, but We get a little.
Yeah,
go
just
ahead.
as what like us manga readers thought the episode and season would end on, we get a fantastic, but short but amazing anime original sequence that I will have Seth describe.
So after that little sequence, we get a little anime original where we have All for One and Shigaraki saying like next it's your turn, and Deku wakes up.
Shigaraki like FNAF jump scaring.
FNAF jump scares.
Shiggy jump scare. Yeah, he's like coming. He's like, ooh, disgusting.
And Deku wakes up and he's got Black Whip at the ready. Urara's in front of him. She's like, "Good morning."
Oh
And Minetta's there. And the rest of the class just like is there to greet Deku as he wakes up. And it's kind of just like yeah, we're gonna fight together. And then the ending song starts playing and the credits start to roll. And that's where the episode ends, really.
After I don't like I feel like some people will be like, oh, another like uplifting. Come on, man. They've gone through a lot in this
This
season.
season
Let them chill.
was
Let
so
them have a
packed.
nice uplifting moment.
Yeah, it was just so packed of just trauma.
back to back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to back bullshit.
What I love about that scene that they added was there was a big stir and controversy about how the bath sequence was handled and how it was like, oh, so all of that trauma and stress and anxiety was healed away by a bath. And,
Man,
you know,
okay, I'm
the-
gonna stop you right there. Who the fuck was saying that?
No, a
Like,
lot of people.
Genuinely, a lot of people were saying that. Are you serious?
No, dead ass. It was so dumb.
He's
And
right.
Granted,
Really?
Yeah.
you
People
know,
hate that chapter.
That's crazy.
people
Why?
hate that chapter because they thought that was like
Very thing,
undoing
literally-
all of Deku's development from that arc, which is just plain wrong.
Which is wrong.
Literally after a huge moment in which one of the main takeaways is Deku needs to rest and just take a break and be treated like a human being, followed up by him taking a break and being treated like a human being. And
Quite-
he is now in the comfort, surrounded by friends, the people that love him, and now he's uplifted now.
You have
Instead
to
of being
He's-
depressed.
you have to remember.
it's-
I feel like a lot of those people that were saying like how lame, like quote unquote bad or like lame that part was the same people who were seeing Deku like all edgy and dark and being like,
Yeah.
my hero's good now. Those
Yeah.
are the same people. So
Yeah,
Like
but-
this moment,
even-
it's for him to like catch a breather. He's just
Yeah.
resting. He's just enjoying this moment while it lasts before like a lot of shit goes on.
exactly.
I've
Like
seen an argument that this last scene brings up a sort of continuity error, but they're wrong.
they're wrong.
No, it's fine.
Well, I really appreciate this scene because as much as I don't like giving those people any sort of acknowledgement, I love that this scene still shows that the looming threat of All for One and Shigaraki is still very present on Deku's mind. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that even despite like all of the efforts of Class 1A and everything that they've done for him, it didn't whisk the problems away. It gives him more confidence and strength going into this, but he's still scared. He's still on alert.
Like,
and
did
it's
these
going to
people
be in
want
the
him
back
to
of his
still be like,
mind.
fuck my friends? Blah, blah, blah. Like, what did they want?
Oh, of course they did.
Like, did they? Is this like
people
the
that
same
wanted-
shit where
There were so many people that wanted Deku to just like body all of Class A and be like they wanted.
Wait, are you?
Yeah, there was a subsection of fans like reading this when it was all new that wanted essentially Eren Yeager Deku.
Yeah, I was
Oh
gonna
my
say
god!
I
I
they
was
just
gonna
want the
say that
Eren.
this reminds me of when Aaron was being a dick to his friends, like specifically like he was like beating up Armin and like doing that whole shit. And people were like,
Spoiler for
yeah,
friends.
and I'm just like, dude, like this is not a good thing. Like Aaron
The
isn't
Eren
this fucking.
and the Erenification.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like Aaron's not this cold badass that you should be idolizing, you fucking
No.
idiot.
No, he's the
You missed-
villain.
It's like,
Yeah.
did you guys read? Bruh. But-
Reading. Too hard.
Yeah. there besides reading comprehension 0, I like that scene exists as a
Yeah.
tangible anchor to show where Deku's kind of at right now, where it's like he's on the up and up, but there's a lot of stuff still on his mind, which is great going into next season.
Right.
Reading
I would've-
comprehension 0, the movie.
What kept this episode from acting like a proper, like a good, like, I guess, season finale? Like, yeah, we had like all the action and the emotional high points in the last 2 episodes, but I feel like if like I'm gonna watch the next season anyway because I know I'm a manga reader. I'm gonna know what's gonna happen. And even if I wasn't a manga reader, I would probably still watch My Hero Academia's next season because I like My Hero. But I'm wondering if I didn't know what was coming next, if I watched this episode that doesn't really have any sort of tease for what comes next, or no real like you get the Star and Stripe scene, sure, but there's no real like ending enticement to like watch the next season. Like you're not left guessing. Really.
I don't know. I disagree in the fact that like besides Star and Stripe being like alluding to like, oh, who's Star's master and what do you mean? Why is she approaching?
No. I'm sorry. You're gonna look at that character design. She's gonna mention a master, and you don't already know the answer.
It's not about the who it is. It's the how do they know each other? And then the big one is Shigaraki's going to be unleashed in 3 days.
Right, but
I think
big
one.
And I think maybe my complaint stems from the fact that I do actually know what happens next, and I feel like what could have been shown would have been a crazy cliffhanger, and I'm a little disappointed.
I do agree, to be honest. If they just showed just a little bit more of like the threat that was gonna happen, and then just cut it there.
I'm a little flip floppy on it because, like, on one hand, like I think this little scene here, it's like a good note to end on because it's like like it's nice, but I also
it does do. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I also do feel that showing a little bit more of what's supposed to happen next, like, would have been a crazy thing to leave like viewers with before it ended.
I don't dislike
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, I understand that.
No,
sentiment.
I like the episode. I mean, the story had the episode had like really good like anime like story content. So like,
and I don't even dislike the original scene that they added either. I think it's great. It even does like the whole,
I like it.
It does the anime trope of like it plays the ED, but it's not the ED. It's still like the episode. I love when anime does. You see it a lot in like
Me
too. But from what I've noticed from reaction videos from anime onlys, Star and Stripe alone was enough to entice people for next season.
Perhaps.
Well, that's good. That's good.
So just speaking as like on their behalf for the non-manga reader half, because obviously for me I'm like yes I can't wait. But I believe the episode did succeed in doing what it needed to do in enticing people for the next season.
Yeah.
There's potential for like there's something that could have been there.
Oh, I agree. Just
but could you imagine?
The specific panel in my brain. I'm like, I get you, bro. I would have went ballistic. But
even if they like switched up the Star and Stripe scene at the very end, even that I feel like could have been a slightly better like end.
Like
just like the ordering of events.
Like this last
or like
or that one.
Or like the end credits scene, like the credits ends and you get that. I don't know.
It's tricky. I thought it gave a lot of closure to the arc specifically, while also planting seeds for the next season in a really cool way. but I definitely see the point being made because this is still a lot lower from the ride that we've been kind of going on, and if they did push that just a little further, that I wouldn't complain.
This fucking comment.
There's a Crunchyroll comment on this episode that says the American #1 hero is about to show All for One why America doesn't have free.
What the fuck is a kilometer?
What the fuck is a kilometer? I love that art.
Me too.
I hope next season we get to see her speaking like English. That'd be fun.
Some,
Please
like-
have Romy Park do like English lines mixed in with her dialogue.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Just
I
like
was
All Might.
kind of hoping that it would. I was kind of hoping that her and the fighter pilots would speak nothing but English. But like maybe when she's like talking to, she'd like slip into some Japanese, because like they're Americans, you know.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I get that. God,
To be
I can't
continued
wait for
and
her
to
dub
be
actor. I gotta
continued?
see.
with Comic Sans.
Yeah, I wonder who her dub actress is gonna be because
I can't wait to see.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm excited for that because she needs to have a deep booming voice.
Mm-hmm.
I have two names floating around in my head, but it could be someone I don't even expect. So we'll
What-
see.
Right. Who do you think,
Well,
Trev?
what's your guess? Yeah.
First one's Dawn M. Bennett, who does Kale from Dragon Ball Super,
okay.
and slash Kefla. I think that she already plays one character in My Hero Academia, but they've used Class B actors for more important characters as well as like a multicast. I think her really gruff, powerful voice could work for Star and Stripe. The other one is a less likely, but I think if you toned back the angry, it could really work. For those who have played the game Hi-Fi Rush, whoever plays Rekka, I think would be awesome.
It's not a bad idea. It's
That
not
isn't a
bad.
bad
a bad
idea
one.
either.
So both of those actresses are my predictions for who will play Star and Stripe going into next season. But it could be a new actor. I love the new actors they've got for the One for All users. I
Mhm.
recognize one of them, but I love all their performances. So
One of the actors of, I believe it's the user with the scars down his face, the Danger Sense.
Yeah.
oh, Hikage, yeah.
He is a friend of a friend.
I've been on a project with him.
You have?
Really?
Oh my god.
I have. I didn't know until after the fact, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
That's crazy.
That was one of the new names in the cast.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
I was like, "Holy shit!"
Like when my friend told me like, oh yeah, I know this person. I was like, what? You know a person who is on My Hero? That's crazy.
Shout outs to, they're definitely not watching this. Shout outs to Bradley Gareth. You're very talented.
Yeah, shut up, bro.
Obviously, they told me when it was revealed. Like it wasn't like NDA breaking or nothing, but
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. It was just like I think it's just like they follow each other or like
yeah, something like
Wait, hold up. His
Yeah.
name is Bradley Gareth, right?
that.
Yeah.
He voices a character in Witch from Mercury in the dub.
Oh.
And what's his name? Guel?
him.
Guel? Yeah, him.
Pink hair guy.
Yeah.
Pink hair guy. Yeah.
Guy. He looks like a Pokemon character. He voices him. That is so crazy.
Mercury doesn't have enough episodes for me to like actually have absorbed all of their names like My Hero
Me
does.
I'm
There's
really
a
bad
lot.
with
There's a lot.
Japanese names.
There's a lot of. It's not even that their names are Japanese. They're like weird sci-fi names. So
That
it's
too.
like
Too.
y'all, and there's a lot of characters in that show. So I'm just like, I know Soletta.
and Mio.
Yeah,
Meal.
and Choo Choo, which is her
Choo
fucking
Choo.
nickname.
Oh,
not
we should
even.
talk about that show on an episode.
Cyborg child reality. Clone baby child
Clone baby child.
reality.
But that's our thoughts on that episode, I think.
Yep.
Pretty
Yeah.
good episode. cannot wait to see season 7.
Yeah,
but now
in a
I
year.
want to talk
we
about just season
Don't
6.
have a date for.
We don't have a date. Oh, we also don't have a movie confirmation. We went this entire season without one.
Thank
Oh.
God.
Meaning that if there is one, it's not during this season's production. It may be next year. I
Bro,
don't know.
How about make a movie while the manga give the manga time to finish, then you can see how much you got to adapt. Make a movie
That would
in
be
between
smart.
that time. There you
Oh.
go.
Also, like, they were doing Mob Psycho also, like, with My Hero, so it's like, a movie too would have been so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good.
Mob Psycho was like literally just like this during this too. That's I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
So-
God, City of Bones.
Yeah, because right now, Studio Bones, all they're working on is Bungo Stray Dogs,
Yeah.
season 4, and a new original IP from them.
Huh.
I forgot what it's called. Shit, what is it
I
called?
didn't even know.
I was looking at it the other day.
Rogue.
Yeah,
I
Metallic
think
Rogue.
is what that's called.
I-
So we'll see if that interferes with My Hero at all.
Cowboy Bebop character designer is on that show.
I remember.
really?
Do you remember way back when we started doing this podcast and we talked about how Horikoshi did a color page spread for one of the chapters that it was close to the beginning or the announcement of season 6 or whatever, and it was all the characters at like the TV, and there was like a book or like a DVD or
I
something.
was gonna bring that up.
That said season 6. And then we talked about how underneath it you saw another DVD box that just showed the letter M.
Yeah.
So
I
we were
remember
thinking, like,
that.
is that movie 4 being like teased? Like, what is that? But we haven't heard anything like close to the sort about movie 4. So I don't know.
I could see I would be fine with movie 4 if it's, as I said, as like a breaker between season 7 and season 6 without interfering with the production too much. Give me my fantasy AU movie or my League of Villains movie, please and thank you.
Yeah, that's literally that is it. It's either a villain movie or you're making a fucking fantasy AU thing. I've been wanting them to make something about that fantasy A, like even if it's like an OVA or some shit. I just want them to make something.
Right?
Different.
It'd be so cool.
I know, right? Yeah.
You just know Horikoshi already has like a whole like fucking several notebooks full of lore of that. You know.
We still haven't seen the villains in that AU, so come on.
I don't know where a movie could even take place in a timeline though. Like even if it's about the villains,
I don't care.
unless you either go completely non-canon and be completely like timeline divergent, or you pull a movie 1 where it's like released during season 3, but it takes place before season 3.
Yeah.
So
otherwise, there's not much you can do because it's so tight knit with events in the current story. So you'd have to flashback or just diverge, which is why the fantasy AU would be really smart because it's completely unrelated.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They'll do something if there is a movie for. I loved World Heroes Mission, despite
that movie's
its flaws,
really good.
So
Yeah.
I love all the movies. Like honestly, like I think the third one is it's the best one just because I feel like it's the most like it feels most like a movie out of all three of them, and I just feel like it's a lot more like I don't know. It just feels like the best evolution of like the My Hero movie. Like yeah,
it has a very cinematic formula, very cinematic story.
Rhodey was a good vessel for that, being like throughout the whole.
Yeah, Rhodey
movie.
is such a good character, bro.
He
Like
is.
he's one of my favorite characters. And he's a fucking original movie character that's not gonna do anything else outside of that.
Yes.
Unless they make a sequel to that movie.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Dude,
I think he shows up.
Heroes Mission.
I think he shows up in Team Up mission manga.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
I still have to check it out, but I know he does because I remember that getting announced. I'm like, that's cool, and then it came out in English, and Ryan Colt Levy was like, "Hey, it's Rhodey."
For this little part of the episode, I kind of wanted to talk about just like wrap up like thoughts and discussion about the entirety of season 6 now that it's over, because like I remember when this season was starting, at least in my perspective, I was like, I'm giving it 3 episodes before I truly say I'm excited. And like I'm so glad that season 6, especially after season 5, and like even a little bit of season 4, where I was kind of feeling, but mostly season 5. Let's be real. Where I was feeling like I don't know about the My Hero anime anymore. Like manga's great, but I just don't know if it can like capture my attention and like be worth it anymore, you know? But
I was in the exact same boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here comes season 6. We gave it those 3 episodes. I was like, all right, I'm back in. And I feel like we've had some episodes that are a little lesser than others, but I don't think this season has had one bad episode at all.
A full-on bad one? No. I wouldn't say that. I'd say disappointing in some cases, but for the most part, consistently great. Which is all I could have really hoped for after season 5.
Yeah, I was in like the same thing like with Seth, because where I was like, after season 5, I was a little burnt out. I was like, just kind of tired. I was like, and also just feeling like, what can they spark a little that joy that I felt with like season 2. But like it just felt, I was just so disappointed because like my villain was, when I read that, it was so good, but then it ended up like that.
I was looking forward to it being adapted into anime like so much.
Yeah,
I was frothing at the mouth for
MVA. I was looking forward to it because at the time I hadn't been caught up to the manga, and I knew that my villain was like a really good arc, and it was something that lots of people were looking forward to. Literally, the moment we should have known is when they said that they were switching the arc order around.
I remember hearing about that when it was like it was rumored, and I was like, that can't be right. That's not real.
I remember seeing the like Shonen Jump page where it was like, next episode off to Endeavor Agency, and my heart sank.
Yeah. Because that's not how the story goes. That's not. And
I love spoiling the end of the MVA arc before it happens. I think that's a really cool idea, personally.
Yeah, and it was just because season 5 had many fucking everything going against it. First of all, it had like the most hype at the time arc. The responsibility of adapting one of the most hype arcs of the series for its time, right? And then it didn't do it well. Okay. Then it had the COVID-19 pandemic affect all of the production on that second half of that series. Funnily enough, where my Villain Academia was scheduled to be. So, boom, that also got hit. You also had the joint training arc taking its sweet time.
Yeah, because that arc is not bad at all, but I was really just like, okay, let's pick it up. Let's really keep going.
It was so exhausting.
To put into account, their joint training and MVA are the same chapter length. One was 12 episodes, one was 5.
Which is just like, and I think the worst like offender of the pacing though was that like Endeavor section.
Sitting.
in a
Like,
chair.
He
sad.
sits
I was
and he
like-
15
sits
minutes.
and thinks. He
That-
thinks and sits.
That shit was so funny.
It made me so sick.
But with this season, we didn't have a filler to start out. We went right into the action, and the
Mhm.
only
Thank God.
recap one we really got was halfway through, and they still spliced new stuff in there that was canon. So it still wasn't a
Yeah.
waste of time.
Right.
So because I was initially scared when I saw that they were like, okay, they're gonna do Dark Hero in this season too. I was like, oh no, oh god, is it gonna get MV8? Is it gonna get squished?
Yeah.
And they're gonna have enough time. But the pacing was on point for this season.
Yeah.
They didn't cut much at all. They only really added,
Mhm.
and that was very refreshing after last time.
Thank
They
God.
Yeah, it
actively-
was very like, which sounds really weird to say. Like, wow, I'm so glad that this show like adapted everything accurately for the most part. It just went beat for beat. Like, that is such a weird thing to be like. Yeah, like the show did its job.
Yeah, it's so true. That last season really burned us all, huh?
It hurt. It hurt. Because I
So
was
then
like,
you go back to normal and you're like, oh my god.
I was
This is why-
legit. I was like a Sonic fan. I was like, I'm done with the
Grr.
anime.
Yeah, I'm done with My Hero.
Season-
Because like aside from the movie, which I was like, yeah, I love that movie. Like, it really did put like a damper on my enjoy because I started to feel like those My Hero fans, they're never satisfied with the show. But like
Mhm.
it was literally just like, no, like genuinely this season, like it fumbled its bag like so
Yeah.
fucking hard. Like the issues were but like season 6, and I think also just it has the benefit of adapting a story that's already really like good anyways.
Yeah.
So like the story is great. The animation was kind of inconsistent. Like you can even tell this season because we had some really really good moments this season, like animation wise. I think generally it looks fine, but like I did see it start to take a little bit of a dip after that first chunk of episodes. Like you have the miracle shit, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my fucking god, and then it keeps going, and you're like, okay, this is still good, but like it's not as good as the
does
start.
dip. Yeah.
I've softened on it over time, and I understand why people like it, and I will give them full credit on that. But as a gigantic Shigaraki fan, I was pretty disappointed with Deku versus Shigaraki.
I
And
think
that's
it
just
could have been
kinda
better.
how
Yeah.
I felt.
It could have been.
And-
I understand that, like, maybe they wanted to conserve their energy for later stuff. That makes sense.
But it's the main hero versus the
It's-
main villain.
I-
That should
yeah,
kind of be
I-
where
Yeah,
your
exactly.
resources
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
Are we
I mean,
talking
literally-
about? Are we talking about like the sort of in between episodes of Deku versus Shigaraki, or are we talking about like the like Texas Smash like episode?
I'm talking
'Cause
the
if we're-
Texas, because the Texas Smash was really good, but everything else I was disappointed
Are
personally.
you really? I thought
Yeah.
like okay, I thought that was the most like that was the highest quality episode of that confrontation, right? So to hear that you were disappointed, because I remember when we were talking about that episode, we gave it a very positive review. So I was just a little confused, like not confused. I'm a little surprised that you were disappointed in that one. The other episodes, like maybe I could kind of see because like there was a lot of like, I feel like some of those episodes could have been a little like condensed into like combined. I think.
Mm-hmm. No, like, because I've seen a lot of people defend it, and after the fact, and I get it, but I think on top of the censorship and the heavy use of
Oh.
like still frames,
Yeah.
as
I just remembered
impacts
something
and-
they like I guess it counts as a censor. It's like the part where like Deku punches him in the fucking jaw.
That
And
one,
it
yep.
looks like Shigaraki's biting him. Like he is biting down on his fucking arm. But in the show, it's not as clear as to what's happening because it's not really animated to show
Right,
that
'cause
that's
in the-
what's going on.
In like the manga panel, what you're supposed to kind of read it as is that Deku like slammed his arm so hard into his jaw it dislocates and his teeth are falling out.
Mm-hmm.
But But yeah, in the anime, it did look like he was just biting his arm.
Yeah, like you couldn't really tell.
For me, it was his stupid flesh ribbon over his shoulder. Because that was just a bad censor. Because it's like, okay, he's being ripped in half. You can't really show that. But instead of like
Oh, I just
doing
remembered.
like
Yeah.
like a mark over it, they have the flesh go over top of the skin, so it's a weird flesh ribbon thing. Like that's bad.
There was some.
I didn't feel the weight with the black whip yo-yoing. As he's like bringing him back and punching him. I know people like the little 2D shot where he's like kind of monkey punching him over the head over and over, but I didn't feel the insane impact the manga pages gave me of like 100% of his power. They just kind of felt like punches to me. I've seen people defend it, like I said, but as for me, that was like the number one thing I was looking forward to seeing. I was underwhelmed. Especially considering how well they did like the Nagan panel where Deku's like chasing the bullet. Or just the Nagan fight in general.
Yeah.
Like, and how they result Deku's to shaky still frames and just kind of underwhelming attacks. And for me, it was, yeah.
I get that.
I agree, to be honest. I think it could have been quite a lot better.
I will say, I think, like I don't disagree with what you're saying about like the still frames and stuff. I still think a lot of that stuff was actually pretty damn good, especially like, you know, Texas Smash or like
Texas Smash was awesome. That and the
That was good.
No matter what happens to me, I'm not your punching bag anymore. That was great. Like
I will say I think a lot of that, like, there was a lot of still frames which were like okay, I guess. But I think what actually kind of like saved it for me was, and My Hero's always done this very well, was just the vocal performances and
those carried throughout
No, right?
the worst looking parts of the season. The vocal performances and the music kept me invested in the atmosphere of the scene. And
Like,
that's why I keep
specifically-
mentioning every time like this season had like great music selection, because even in scenes that may not look too great, like the fucking voice actors are doing their thing, and the music is like there to set the tone, and like if nothing else, I think that makes up for it.
And I want to say even the sound design, especially on like a lot of those like the hits on Shigaraki in that fight, I feel like captured that sort of like impact that it needed to.
That's
like,
part of what threw me off too, because you're right. The sound design was great, but the visual of the punch, I'm like, wait, that sounded way harder than what I saw.
Yeah.
Because that was the lowest part of the season for me, which was why it hurt so much, because it was, once again, it was Shigaraki kind of getting sidelined despite his importance to the narrative.
My favorite crusty boy.
My favorite character ever made. But that's why I'm glad. I guess obviously I wanted more from that fight. I'm just glad the rest of the big moments of the season didn't get that same treatment.
Yeah.
Like, they went over crazy stupid with Nagan's fight, and I couldn't have asked for anything more.
There was
Or
a
one thing
lot
I
of
thought about
times
was,
they
like,
went above and beyond.
Like the Mirio section where he came in. Dude, I just remember that was such a hype moment for me because I love Mirio.
That was crazy.
I love Mirio.
The little twirl they added with Mirio coming back, like I still think narratively there's a lot of problems with how Mirio just kind of comes back and vanishes, but honestly, the anime version made me so emotional that that's one of those moments where I'm like, okay, maybe I can forgive that, because Mirio, they did that really well in the show. And I'm going to give them full props for that. And seeing people's reactions, like there's one reaction channel I really love, and he just started crying. Mirio showed up,
yeah.
and I was
Because
so
Mirio's
happy.
the GOAT. Like, I don't know. He's just a good character.
It's true, and he's normally like the reactor's normally like a very like low key reactor, more like introspective, which like I like him for that. He's not just like yo, oh my god, they did the thing. But
Yeah.
when he does show intense like emotion like that, it's like oh my god, Mirio.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments in the show that was like, oh, I can't wait for like this person to see this, or like, oh, I wonder how this like channel is gonna react to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which was part of the fun of the season, and yeah, those vocal performances, man, I can't say enough. I know I've been nerding about them the whole session, but I
It's
still
fantastic.
go back and hear Daiki
They're
and
so good.
Justin shred as Deku.
Yeah.
The complete open book of Clifford and Obuhiko for Bakugo, Ayane Sakura as Ochako, and Patrick Seitz as Endeavor. So many
Yeah.
amazing names.
There's just like
They all
there's
did
just a lot
amazing.
of like great there's a lot of great moments in this arc, which like more so that's on Horikoshi because he fucking wrote it. But like having them be depicted and then like in one way or another just being done a lot of justice, it's just like it just feels good. It just feels good because there were so many things in this arc that I was looking forward to see. Like I was looking forward to like new Shigaraki shit. I was looking forward to seeing the fucking like Todoroki family Dabi Endeavor stuff be animated, which I think they did a great job on that. Like I thought they did a great job with the episode, the backstory.
Yeah.
Like that was good. I think like Dabi's reveal probably one of the most like anticipated moments for me, and I think they did it so well.
I'm
'Cause
so
that is
glad
just
they popped off
it's
with
just a
the dance.
it's just a good
They
narrative
did.
like part of the story, and like didn't they get like an actual like choreographer for that? I think they did, which is why it looks like that.
Hit up like a dance company to help like the actual production of that scene, and it looks so fucking cool. Oh, Hiroshimono, I love you so much.
You can definitely tell a lot of the people working on the show, between like the animators, the voice actors, they're all very just into it. Between like Bakugo's VA literally asking Horikoshi for advice.
That's plus ultra.
That's plus ultra.
Plus ultra.
And just all
everything
the
with
aspects that you
Hayashi.
guys, all the aspects you guys listed is just like you could tell they really love what they make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say that because the last season it felt like they were getting sick of working on My Hero, but
yeah,
this kind of like reignited a fire that was once lost. Which is like, oh, I'm so glad to say that. Ugh, it's been a while, but
yeah,
if they keep the pace up. And the moment that we're hoping for at season 7, usually the beginning of a season has some really juicy animation. So
they have to go hard for it because like if it's like
you
how
this
yeah,
like, you can't go any lower than hard. You gotta go harder than hard. You gotta go break it for the next
like
fucking.
you gotta do what you did with Mir. You gotta do what you do with Mirko at the start of the season. You just gotta like go crazy.
Season 6 and 7 will both start with the new hot girl.
You're
fighting.
right.
It's a hot girl summer, bro. The new baddie of the season.
New baddie, here she comes.
I'm trying to think of like anything else.
The Mirko episodes, if we can talk about those, were just we're fucking fantastic. Like I think,
like I remember like back to back just watching them. We were just like, yo.
They love her so much.
They love Mirko.
Mirko as a character is just kind of meant to be cool without much like narrative behind the hood. It's just kind of a I'm rooting for you because you're awesome, and they nailed that energy perfectly. Nice nuanced character writing, dipshit. Check this out.
Watch this.
Watch this. She bursts in a lab, says, "What's up, Doc?" and then just rips off a Nomu's head with her thighs.
Her fucking limbs are like getting punctured and torn off, and she's still going at it.
And we
Still
love her for
going.
that. We love her
We
for
love
that.
her for that.
We love her for that. Yeah, she did what she had to do, and that's it.
That's it. We got it.
I think another reason why this season is just like, I guess why I like this season so much is because quite literally, without this season, this show wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have had like a reason to like come together like every week and like actually think about what we're watching, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I mean we could, but like now that we have like this we had this like experience, right, where we can kind of like we used it to really digest like these episodes in a way that I don't think we like were really doing before, which kind of like it sort of heightened my enjoyment of the season because of like we actually got to talk about like these things and like have like a nuanced conversation about like the Endeavor family situation. Like normally if you watch a show by yourself, if you don't really like talk about the things you're watching and you kind of just absorb it, you'll tend to just be like, oh, that was good, and you like
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was good, and
forget.
then you like you move on. Yeah, that I think I like that too because like I don't know. I think well, one we're reviewing season 6, which
Right.
there is a whole history and backlog of stuff that like makes a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now like very significant to us.
Mhm.
Like the Dobby shit. Like the Dobby shit's been teased forever, and it's been the manga forever, and like there's just so many layers to that. So being able to like really talk about that is good, and I've enjoyed it too because like I don't know, I feel like I don't, not that I don't get the chance, but I feel like this being able to talk about stuff that I like in this format is really cool because like like you said, you don't really sit down and have like nuanced conversations like these with like when you're watching a show like that, whether by yourself or even with like a friend or anything, and like being able to have these conversations and just just geek out, just nerd out.
I only really get to do this with like one other friend of mine, and because all of my other friends either dropped it or are not caught up. So when I know I'm just like a guest here, but the times I have gotten to like come in, it's always made me very excited because I nerd out about this show so much, but not a lot of people to nerd out with. So when you guys were just like, hey, I mean, you want in? I'm like, yes, I want in. I absolutely want in.
I mean, like doing this show is how I met you, so that's awesome.
That's true. Like we get to talk to Trev more.
We get to talk to Trev. Yeah.
Yeah, this
is My Hero. This is truly our My Hero Academia.
Our Hero Academia.
This truly was our paranormal liberation war.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think it also we have the benefit of all of us being really into My Hero anyways, so like
It's true. Very true. That's important. So we love this story and we will defend it. Even and like apart, but we will defend it more than most.
And I will say, like, I think the season 2, because it was good, it made me it reminded me that like, I like My Hero. Like I love My Hero. It used to be one of my comfort series, to be honest. Just in the sense that it was something that I was like really attached to, and like I just loved like the story and the characters and all that. And like I don't feel as intensely as I did before when I was like a kid, but like watching this season was like, oh yeah, My Hero's like this is a great show. It's a great story. And great even when I was reading the manga during season 5, I was like, yeah, like My Hero's great. I love My Hero.
It's so true.
Thank God.
I'm happy that sentiment that you have is also being shared by some of the anime onlys who came back, because like we bitched, season 5 took a big hit, but I saw a lot of people being like, wow, I remember why this show was so good and why like it was hyped so highly. It was like #1 anime for a while. I was like, I remembered that feeling. I'm like, good.
We have like y'all gotta remember, like, we have this trend now with seasonal anime, and we've had it for a very long time. We have, but like in like the recent form of it, right? We've had this trend now of anime with seasonal stuff, where like it'll have like the Twitter girl of the anime season. Y'all gotta remember, when season 2 of My Hero came out, who was the Twitter girl of fucking the anime season? It was Uraraka.
Yeah.
So like this show is like cemented in like, I guess, like that sort of like anime fandom, right? And like having it take that hit in season 5 was like
Sad.
it was so it was sad because it felt like we lost like My Hero was kind of the anime was at least losing its magic. But here comes season
like
6 and like, oh no, this is a fucking great adaptation.
and like some could argue that like that was starting the show earlier than season 5, which like I don't, but
A
like
little
season
bit.
a
Like a
little
little-
bit, but like quite literally, like it's not even just like anime, but like just like the handling of the fucking story and pacing, like compared to everything else before, like the visuals. No, I just remembered. It wasn't even like a horrible thing, but do you remember that one part where Endeavor was just CGI for like no reason in like
Yeah.
one
Oh
scene?
yeah.
He was just, but he wasn't even like moving like that. He was just
standing there.
PS4
like
Endeavor.
one scene, and we were like, what?
They just didn't feel like drawing all that.
But yeah, aside from that, like it was just, I don't know, it did make me like pretty upset just because it's like and it could have been a byproduct of like COVID and how like that affected production and stuff. But like I was just sitting there like, how did this happen? Like we were trying to figure it out. Like I still stand by the idea that there was higher ups that didn't like my villain, so they purposefully like fucked it up, which might not be the sole reason it's like that, but I feel like that was played
It
a
is the
part in my
lowest
villain.
selling arc in the series, which makes me extremely upset.
Yeah.
But I
That's
get
stupid.
it.
That was
It's
another
dumb.
thing season 5 had against it.
Like Japan is not as fond of the villains as we are,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame. But I'm happy. That's part of why I like it even more. Because going forward, how when Hori started introducing the villains in the forest training camp, and how viewership started to decrease, he had to cut a lot of what he wanted to do with them because he was scared of getting canceled again, understandably so.
Yeah.
Based on his history with his previous manga series. But the fact that even still, he took all those ideas and gave them a whole arc by themselves for 22 weeks in a magazine that is so against that kind of idea from happening was really brave, and it turned out really well. So that made me happy that he took that shot despite of what it could do potentially to the reputation, which is so dumb. But you know how the fan base is; they just don't really care as much. They like when the good guy beat the
Or like
bad guy.
certain minorities of people are just not like, yeah.
It is a little strange how, like, it's so strange thinking back to the forest training stuff where you're reading a superhero comic, and when the super villains show up, you're like, I don't want to read this anymore, or I don't
It's
want to
like,
watch this anymore.
It's like what?
That's so weird to me.
So weird. We love villains so much over here. Venom got his own movie twice.
Which I did think about that, like, because I don't think it's necessarily the case that there aren't people over in Japan who like there's probably lots of League of Villain fans over there. I just have to assume, like, is it like sort of like a standard in Japan where like they don't want to like portray bad people as sympathetic, or like there's like a weird like bias against that in some
Which
way.
is funny because most shonen anime redeem the bad guys.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing, is that it's like, oh, now they're good now. They're good
good
people now.
We-
Yeah,
now I
like,
can buy
versus
their action figure in good faith.
yeah, versus having a villain who is still like a villain, but you get to sympathize with them and understand them and shit.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, we can't have that.
inexcusable.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Season, I think for me, like the beginning of season 5, when I was watching that live, I was just, I was just not feeling it. I was like, man, I really don't care.
I felt
then-
like I was fighting an uphill battle. Like, no, you guys, you gotta
Yeah.
Guys,
And then
listen.
And then I was like, you
I'm-
know what? I'm just gonna read the manga. And Seth was like, yeah, just do it. Then I got into it. I was like, wait, this is good. And then we
Yeah.
got to my villain. I was like, what? This is so good. Yeah. But like, and then of course
sorry.
the anime, like, with its downs and downs. Yeah, I lost steam in the anime, so I was just like, I'm not sure I'm gonna watch season 6. But I watched it with you guys, and I was like, well, this is actually really good. Wow.
Yeah,
It's
Thank
this
you.
is
really
good
enjoyable.
adaptation. And the funny thing about season 6 is that it actually like calls back to shit that they missed
Yeah.
because they didn't adapt my villain
Oh,
properly.
wait,
my
we
God,
fucked
when
up, we
it's
fucked up.
supposed to be a compressed flashback, and then most of it's about Spinner. That
Yeah.
made me
Right?
laugh really
That
hard.
was pretty
No,
funny.
That was funny.
Because like that was something I thought about. Where I'm like, okay, I'm glad that they did that, but like I feel like it also kind of sucks because it takes away from the fact that that part of the story is from Spinner's perspective, right? So so the way that they're reframing it to not be about Spinner, I'm just like, okay, bro.
My
Okay.
friend edited it like back in. Like he took that scene from the war and then put it back in the MVA anime as like this is how it was supposed to be. And I thought it was like, yeah, this already makes it feel a little better than putting the
Yeah.
scene where it's supposed to be.
That's like putting a band-aid on a scar, though. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I appreciate it, but I'm just like, come on.
But
Yeah.
for the people that refuse to read, that's a good option.
yeah. I think
Which if you some of y'all need to be reading.
when the anime is said and done, and like in 10 years we get like My Hero Academia Kai, like,
Oh my god.
and it
We
fixes some of
don't
the
even
issues.
need that.
It would be pretty good.
Just give me my villain Kai. That's all I need.
Yeah.
But no, I think season 6, while it doesn't erase season 5's blunders, it definitely like makes up for them, and I'm really hopeful for season 7. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask y'all, what was your like, and we talked about some of our favorite moments, but what was your like most absolute favorite moment this season?
Oh
For
god.
me, I feel like it would be the beginning of Shigaraki's awakening. When he finally wakes up and it's like all hell breaks loose. I thought that was fun.
Oh, that was great.
That was real good.
You know I'm gonna give my thumbs up to that, homie.
My favorite, obviously, like the Dobby stuff,
Mhm.
and just like the whole like the Todoroki family turmoils,
Mhm.
was pretty good. And then like there's like a lot of like small stuff I like just like Mirio and like fucking God, my memory is like kind of poopy poops.
It's fine.
Oh, I really liked like during the actual war, like that moment where they're trying to restrain Gigantomachia,
Mm.
like the
Yeah.
whole class, and they succeed a little bit. Like that's a good moment. And then like
Oh yeah, thank you.
Twice.
Oh my
How could you forget
Oh.
about Twice? How did I forget about Twice?
Thank you to the
bless it.
anime for extending Midnight's death and adding,
Thank you.
making it more sad.
Yeah, the
Kinda
hand
just,
grab
like-
still gets me.
It's
Yeah.
so fucking.
They show you
good.
she's dead, but they
It's
don't
bad,
really like
it's
do
sad.
too much in the manga.
Yeah.
That was such a, because it wasn't like I was super attached to her anyways, but like that's one of their teachers. Like that's someone who was like, you know, a
important to
figure.
them.
Yeah. That sucks.
Spent a whole year in their class. Like, we didn't see. My Hero is not the show where we see like every single day in class, but you have to like think like they go to school 6 days a week, and they at least spend at the very least an hour with these teachers a day, right? Now, think back to when you were in high school and doing the same thing. Some teachers you just like click with, you know? And especially like Ashido, for example, like she was probably affected like the most. And like you can
Yeah.
if you can like think back to like your own like high school experiences, like if you had like that cool teacher who you were like close with, you can like relate to like that kind of pain, right? Like losing that authority figure in your life. Like that was and the way Bones adapted it too was just God,
It was very good.
very good.
I'm,
No, you go ahead first.
because what my favorite moment in the arc was is different than what my favorite moment of the season was, and I'm gonna view it just as what was my favorite episode to watch in terms of the content and how it was adapted. Dobby's dance takes the cake for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of how they brought that to life with the haunting music track that Yuki Hayashi made, the excellent choreography and animation of the dance itself,
Right.
the chilling vocal performance of Hiro Shimono. All of these blended together to weave the story of the episode was, I think, my favorite for sure. Deku versus Class 1A is really close, though. But in terms of how it was adapted. But that, in terms of the adaptation, specifically. Because favorite moment, every time Shigaraki's on screen. His speech, I love that. That's my favorite thing he ever says. When he levels the whole city, I love that. I eat it up every day. I still go back to his moments in this arc because they're amazing.
No. I know the episode you really like. It's the muscular with Shindo, you know.
Yeah,
That's your favorite.
It gets beat up.
I love when Deku says, "This is my full power," as he claps his cheeks. If that's what you're talking about.
No. Shit, you know your favorite.
Shindo, yeah. Bryce Papenbrook, yeah.
Art. Okay, you want to hear some heinous shit? Here, I'm gonna speak my truth. Bryce Papenbrook did a wonderful job with the "I'm gonna shake your brain right out of your head" line.
He did.
I was genuinely like, okay, dude, that's awesome.
No, like he does a fine job as Shindo. He's not like a bad voice for him. He's fine.
But he plays Shindo, and I was laughing maniacally as Muscular clapped his cheeks.
Pause.
Well,
Yo, hey.
Turn that boy into mush. It was amazing.
Pause.
I
think definitely my favorite. I think definitely my favorite moment of the season is, well, it's my favorite My Hero moments ever, is the entirety of the Deku versus Class A episode. It is like from the way it was adapted to the vocal performances to the fucking music choice. You Say Run obviously is the fucking best song ever in existence. Bakugo's vocal performance in his apology scene, and just like the story in general leading up to that point, and special shout out to the Uraraka speech as well, because that's also one of my favorite moments, like probably tied. And it was just so amazingly like handled, and I'm so happy that season 6 it was able to stick the landing with those two moments, because those would have those were what I was looking forward to the absolute most. And they're fucking. It was perfect, perfect, down to the last minute.
Minute detail.
Homelander loves My Hero Academia season 6, so you should too.
Mm. Also,
We're
just
getting
I think
girl
talking about it too,
Homelander next
definitely like I think some of my favorite episodes to talk about, like I already said my favorite stuff like Twice and Dobby and all that stuff, and then like the Hawks episode was good to me, but I think I had more fun talking about Hawks, like that episode specifically, and like talking about
that did spark
Dobby
some
and
really
stuff.
good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But what is the future of UA Anime Club, you might be asking? Now that season 6 is over, we don't have any My
We
Hero.
we will never do this show ever again.
Yeah, we're gone. Bye.
We're you know, us at UA, things are kind of rough right now. We can't leave. We're kind of locked inside the school, and there's no more show to watch, so we don't know what to do.
Yeah, as you can see, the walls around the school have we are trapped here because of the impending doom. So
yeah, Deku hasn't like saved the world yet, so we can.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him to do that.
As much as I welcome the death at the hands of a very attractive white-haired serial killer, the rest of my friends will probably not be. So we're trying to figure out what to do.
You're one of them true crime people.
I can fix him.
Me when a white-haired insane person tells me to do something.
But in all seriousness, UA Anime Club obviously is not going to go away.
We'll meet again.
We will meet again. Don't know how, don't know where, don't know when. Except I do. I'm just not going to tell you yet because I'm cooking. But make sure to stay tuned. I know we said like in an update video, like back when the relaunch of this channel came out, we went to the conclusion of like, don't make any promises, but like, no, I got stuff. We got stuff working. We're good. You can trust us. Please trust us. Please hit the like button.
Share with your friends. Everything. Follow us on Twitter.
We won't be like reviewing a week to week show anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But we definitely aren't. We definitely like anime for sure.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, doing a consistent series week to week is tiring.
It's very hard.
It's a little much.
It's hard and can be a lot sometimes.
But we
Especially if you're drawing art for it every single week.
That too.
No, shout outs to all these lovely trio of people for putting their blood, sweat, and tears into editing and putting the art and all this other stuff for the episodes every time.
Shout outs to Seth for being in the mines and editing. And
the editing
shout
mines.
outs to Donnie for making some fucking banger art week to week. They are the goats.
Just saying that.
Okay, well, shut up. Fuck you.
Actually,
Kill you.
But like I am proud of everybody for being able to do it because at the end of the day, this is for funsies, and it is fun.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
I guess you could say so long season 6 of My Hero Academia and so long season 1 of UA Anime Club. And then we all clap. Yay!
Woo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next time on UA Anime Club, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yo!
To the entire show. Oh.
Well, this has been the UA Anime Club podcast.
Wait.
What?
Huh?
Thanks, Trev, for joining us on this
journey.
journey.
Thank you, Trev.
Oh, you're
This
absolutely right.
magnificent journey with you.
How could I?
Thank you for letting me partake in the sessions of some of the season. It's been very fun every time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always a great time with Trev on the pod.
That's true.
on the pod.
Yeah, the pod.
No, I love talking about this show. I love these goofs. All three of them dork. I thoroughly enjoyed just getting to rush about all these little minor things about this show. And it's been great getting to cover season 6. Like was said before, it added to my enjoyment of the season.
Yay.
Yeah. I'm glad.
We are glad that you have joined us. You could have said no, but you didn't, and that's the true hero thing that you've done. I don't know.
You went somewhere with there. But
The
I
true
will-
my the
I
true
will
Hero
try,
Academia,
you know.
whatever.
This really was My Hero Academia.
Oh shit. He's dead. Anyway.
Okay, now, in all seriousness, thank you all so much for watching this episode of UA Anime Club. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel when you want to see more content from us and whenever the next episode of UA Anime Club drops. And this is the final sign-off for this era of the show. So, see you next adventure.